Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on a Thursday. This is the final day of the third year of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, as tomorrow is the third anniversary, which means it's the start of the fourth year.
I'm glad you said
of the
that.
show.
I thought you.
No, that's incorrect.
I thought you was about to say this is the final day that Tyvis will be sitting in this chair at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, Tyvis starts his radio show on Monday, and so he'll be like getting in at 11:05. He's going to have the Jay Crawford hour.
No. We'll see. I got to see the first time. Next Tuesday, we'll see. If next Tuesday, whatever time I get in, that'll be about the time I get in. I'm shooting for 11 o'clock on the dot.
What time do you leave?
8:55.
Downtown Columbus?
Not downtown, but close to downtown.
I mean, I could make it.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, listen, Apple Maps say 2 hours and 10 minutes. That means that's 11:05.
That's really 1:55.
Can't you leave at 8:50?
Huh?
Can't you leave at 8:50?
I don't know.
What's your partner's name? Bone Man?
T-Bone?
T-Bone?
Bone Man?
Can he hold it down?
It was Bone Man.
T-Bone? Can he hold it down?
Yeah,
No.
but the guy's been doing radio a long time, right?
Hold it down for 5
Let
minutes.
him do the last segment by himself.
If Apple Maps says 2:05, that's really
No,
like
it say 2:10.
2:10. That's really like 1:55.
He's the guy that...
See, that's ridiculous.
It is.
Talk.
Isn't he the
That's
guy...
crazy talk.
Is T-Bone... He's like me, right? He's short and fat?
Yeah.
Okay.
You mean to tell me
can handle it.
I'm the only one who looks at the time in the GPS and looks at that as the time to beat?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do it all the
100%.
time.
Yes.
It's the time to beat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
But you can really-
So if I'm leaving at 8:55, and they say 2 hours and 10 minutes, that puts me here at 11:05.
Just take a
I just need to shave 5 minutes.
Oh, you can just take a bottle.
6. You got to get 10:59. Yeah.
Take a bottle to pee in.
You can do that easy, Ty. You can
No,
do
he just
that.
pees in the last break of the radio show.
Pee in the bottle.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah,
Pee in the
last break. All right, Mike, who's our title
Dump it out the
sponsor
window
today?
on the
Our title sponsor today is Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. What time is it?
Game time. By the way, maybe in year 4 of the show, we can
crazy.
figure out why when
from
Mike
experience.
talks on the mic, we all have to turn our headset volume down, and then when we have a guest on, we got to turn it up.
Baby improvements, day by day.
Or we could
Day by day.
Or we can finally get that cough button, so when I'm sick,
Oh, yeah,
I can
that's
hit the
right.
button and stop coughing.
We
off
do
my
need
mic.
that. We need that. I got allergies today. Anybody else? I don't know if it's allergies.
My
You
aller-
actually know what would be cool if we could do, and I
What?
don't think it's possible through vMix. So I'm going to pull the curtain back real quick.
I'll pull it back.
vMix, the system we use to broadcast this show,
Yeah.
we have pimped out vMix into like an ultimate vMix machine. We use it to like 98% of its full capacity.
Right.
It was not intended to have this many bells and whistles, to do this many things.
Sure.
Play music, graphics, videos, all in one. This is
Right.
built for basic streaming.
Yeah.
Audio is not necessarily one of the strengths of vMix.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the audio board, but because Steve's directing the cameras, pulling videos, punching shots,
Right. He's got a lot of
it's hard
irons in
to
the
ride
fire.
the
Yeah.
audio board if he sees Tyvis ready to cough. Also,
Right.
to my left, this way, where Steve's sitting,
Yeah.
he has 3 giant monitors in front of his face. Steve, can you even see out there unless you're sitting up? This way. Yeah, he has to like really sit up to see.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way, and I'm not even sure this is beneficial, and I'm asking a question that Steve doesn't have a mic to answer, and it's probably an EP Steve question. If we could like move the audio board and make that Ant, so Ant could see you guys, and if he sees you getting ready, yeah, there you go. That's how you could see.
He looks like Wilson from Home Improvement
and,
right
and
there.
Ant could be the one, if he sees you about to cough, can kill the mic. So I wonder if that's a possibility we could.
We can't just get a button out here?
for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, now we're talking other audio connections.
Yeah,
way
that's a
above
little
That's
out of
way
the
above
budget.
an 11:04
I didn't know that
on
I
Thursday.
didn't know that a button was that high level.
Oh, that's high level.
All right, never
Definitely.
mind. Well, just take a bottle to pee, and that's not high level.
That's ridiculous.
No, again,
You've never peed in a bottle while you were driving.
No.
Are you serious?
I haven't either.
I have not.
I'm with Ty.
Why
You haven't either?
Why
Never.
don't you just pull over on the highway?
I got make time, baby.
He could just pee in his last commercial break before he goes.
Unbelievable. Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just pee before you leave.
I mean, folks
Jason,
don't.
have you ever peed in a bottle while watching Netflix?
I'm sure I probably have. Yes. Yes,
while
probably.
shaving too. I mean, you don't want to be driving near Jason. Trust me.
I've never shaved. Well, that's not true. I probably have.
See?
But not with like the razor and the shaving cream. Maybe, probably electric. I probably don't.
Now, that would be impressive. The razor shaving cream
I've never
while
done that.
driving and watching Netflix and peeing in a bottle.
I have eaten a Mexican pizza while watching Netflix. I have done that.
Oh, then you had to make a run for the border after that. Oh my God. By the way, speaking of, and Jason will appreciate this. Tyvis doesn't come from the West Side, so he might not know about this. But
Whoa, what's that supposed to mean? I'm a
you
West Tech lost, baby.
but you don't
Not West
go
Side,
on
it's
this
Cleveland.
So you know how you have the shore? I call it the Shoreway. I think it's now called like Edgewater, whatever.
I call it the short way.
Yeah.
Oh, right, a Shoreway.
Yeah, everybody calls it shortwave.
Have we talked about the fact that this is? I know it's been like this for a long time, but why is it 35 miles an hour on that
It
thing?
makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's a highway,
I mean, I do 60.
at least.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and a lot of the cars follow the speed limit, and I'm like, I'm trying to get around. I'm like, you can't be doing 35.
Why do you take the short way? You take the short way to get here?
I would
Not usually.
Same thing.
Not usually, but sometimes if I'm stopping somewhere,
Oh, okay.
like if I'm making a stop in Lakewood,
Yeah.
whatever, I'll just hop on the Shoreway from there.
Okay.
And then I'm like, this is just ridiculous every time. By the way, another annoying thing, I don't know if maybe Jason does this, the people that put on their that either don't put on their turn signal or put it on last second.
I rarely use the turn signal.
Now,
I know where I'm going. I don't need it.
Okay, that's wrong.
I hate you.
If traffic is heavy,
No,
yes, I
can't-
will use
no.
it.
If you're on
there's
the,
nobody behind me,
I hate you.
no, if
Who
you're
am I
nobody behind you,
signaling
it doesn't
for?
matter. If I don't even care about on the highway, but like when you know how you get off the Shoreway, we get off the Shoreway on East 9th, and you obviously make a right onto
Yeah.
East 9th, and then you immediately make a left on Lakeside.
Yeah.
Well, that left lane, there is a turning arrow, but you can also go straight in that left lane. And like, don't be in that left lane if you're going straight. It's unacceptable.
don't be in the left. Well, if the sign says you have an option,
Right, but there's no need to be. Be in the middle lane. I hate people that are not making a left turn in the left lane.
so now people who are following the law are aggravating. you.
Yes, those people are aggratated.
All right.
They
I
are
just wanna
following
make
the
sure.
law, letter of the law.
I just want to make sure.
And then the worst is the idiots who they're turning. If you're turning, you got to put. If you're moving, lane to lane on the highway, fine. Don't put on your blinker.
What?
But I do it. But I can live with you if you don't do it. But if we're on the streets and you're turning, put on your effing blinker. I want to get stuck behind you if I'm trying to go straight.
if there's somebody behind me, I will use a blinker.
Yeah, there you go.
But Alessia hates riding
is
with me.
terrible.
She hates riding with me. She says all the time I'm a horrible driver. I don't think I am. I think I'm
I can
just.
just imagine some of the arguments the two of you get into in the
Have
car.
you ever been in an accident?
Oh yeah. Not recently.
You're a horrible driver.
Not recently. Not in years.
How do you know it was his fault?
Was it your fault?
They were all my fault. That was years ago. But I think I don't know if I told the story in the air. When we went to Europe, we flew out of Detroit, so we could take a direct Detroit to Paris.
Right, sure.
So I think we made it to the Detroit airport in about an hour and 45 minutes from our house. And we were going down the turnpike or 75, and we were in my wife's SUV, and the hood was like fluttering. And I said, "Were you under the hood? Like, did you not latch it all the way?" And she's in the passenger seat. She's like, "No, I just don't normally drive at 97 miles an hour." The hood was literally going like that.
You never knew the hood had a problem.
This thing's a piece of crap. You can't even go 100 without the hood fluttering.
Oh my gosh, what a soft car. That car is softer than the cabs.
All right, let's dive into our first topic here, guys. NBA playoffs are in full swing. Crazy games every night, highlight-worthy performances, and purely can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot, a breakout play, or a 20-point comeback, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If that bet wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. You can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Before we dive into how the Cavs can rebound for Game 3, the 2-minute report came out last night.
Oh, my God.
From the Cavaliers' collapse against
First
Indiana.
of all,
let me just set it up, then you can take it away.
Set it up. Here we go.
The 2-minute report came out, and in the 2-minute report, the NBA officials confirmed they missed 3 calls. On the first lane violation, Steve, if you want to take this full, this should have been a double lane violation. Neesmith, 3 Cavs, Ty Jerome, everyone is in the lane before it should have been. Then in the other free throw, the one Halliburton missed, that also should have been a lane violation. And Donovan Mitchell should have been called for a 3-second defensive penalty with 15 seconds left. None of those 3 were called. There were a lot of people on Twitter then blaming the referees as the reason Cleveland lost the game.
No, that's a lie.
That's loser's mentality.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Thank you.
Go
Did
back.
the refs
Go
cost
back.
the Cavs?
Go back to that other. This right here is why they lost. If Isaac Okoro did what he was supposed to do and boxed the shooter out, he would have stopped Naismith from cutting down the lane, and they would have never had the putback dunk to begin with. I don't know why they decided to double box out Miles Turner and why he didn't just box out the shooter. I'm confused.
Isaac Okoro in that situation would never box out the
Guys,
shooter, just a heads up.
I don't care what the referees did or didn't do. You're up 7 with 47 seconds to go.
Win the game.
That's it. Don't. If you are talking about the refs, first of all, I don't know why the NBA does. What is the benefit of doing these 2-minute reports?
The players hate them because of exactly this.
What's
they
the
say
point?
It's accountability, but is it really? The league views it as accountability of saying, we blew it, we got it wrong. And the players are like, okay,
so what are they doing?
What?
Yeah, what they doing about it? Okay, you got it wrong. So
that's
it. What do you want to do about it?
That's it. Hand up. That's on me.
Then that's meaningless.
Beyond the obvious of, you'd have to be a fool to think the referees cost the Cavs this game. If you went through the whole game and with a fine-tooth comb for all the missed calls, there'd be 100 in every game.
That's every sport, though.
Yeah, but especially in basketball, because they never call travel, they never call double dribble, or almost never. I mean, it's got to be beyond obvious for them to call it. There's probably, who pays attention? Oh, everybody's an expert on lane violations now. Who ever pays attention to that? My guess is there's a lane violation on half the free throw attempts.
Probably more.
Right? Probably more. I mean, so all of a sudden, the lack of a lane violation.
Was it the ref's fault the Cavs couldn't get the ball across half court in the final minute of the game? Was that the official's fault?
No.
Was it the ref's fault that Ty Jerome can't catch a pass from Max Strus on an inbounds play?
No.
Was that the official's fault?
Yeah, no.
Then shut up. That had nothing to do with why they lost the game.
I mean, it's just patently
I
absurd.
can't. Didn't y'all win and watch the Celtics lose last night? And
Man, did you
I'm
guys
just
see the
sitting
end of
there
that
like,
game?
man.
No, kids had a band concert. I didn't see any of the Celtics.
Did you see the end of it?
I definitely watched the end of it.
I'll tell you, first of all,
Bridges don't do a thing, but that boy with 2 seconds left is like Ron Artest on defense.
Before that, first of all, Jalen Brunson
is a beast.
I mean, this guy I know he's a top 10 player, 15 player in the league.
Yeah.
You taking him over
But
Donovan?
he just takes his game up another level.
You taking him over Donovan?
I don't know. I don't think
that game.
so.
They're both.
You ain't
they are both terrific.
They're
players.
both in the same class of player,
Yeah.
right?
Hey.
In the same group. But were you watching the end of the game, Mike?
I caught the end, yeah.
They gave him I don't know. I mean, I know he's a great player, but it was such an easy look.
Yeah,
talking
they
about?
did not defend that well at all.
On the Jalen
Not at
Brunson basket that gave the Knicks the lead with whatever it was, 15
No, I thought he
seconds?
shot
15
free
seconds.
throws, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you think the one before?
The one
Yes, the one
before,
before.
yeah.
And then, but even the shot he got fouled on, it was a pretty good look. But anyway, he makes the free throws.
Yeah. So we're on agreement, though. Anyone blaming the ref, it's just loser mentality.
Yeah. If you blaming you was up 7. Like you shouldn't have lost the game.
Real quick, Tatum put himself in a bad spot for that last shot because he had 3 guys around him.
Jason Tatum stinks.
But that was great defense by the Knicks. You got to give him credit.
Jason
because
Tatum stinks. He
to
is
not
who I
foul
think
him,
he is.
Like you figure, Mike, in that scenario, he's going to get fouled.
He faded away. If you're
But they were great.
Yeah.
They were straight up, and they just knocked that ball away, and that was
exactly who I think he is. He ain't that guy.
He's a champion.
He ain't that guy.
Oh, that's not fair.
I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say, man. He not that.
He's a champion.
He's not that guy.
He
is not that guy. He not. I'm sorry. He's not.
I don't know what that means exactly.
He's not that guy.
Compared to who?
Anybody. Like when you talk about top players in the league, he doesn't. To me, he just doesn't.
Was he not the best player on the championship team?
No, I think Jaylen Brown won the MVP, didn't he?
Jaylen Brown was better in the playoffs.
Thank you.
He's better, but Jason Tatum's their best player.
Yes.
Arguably.
I mean, Brown was not good this year. Brown took a giant step back. Tatum was by far their best player all regular season, but he has not been good.
Anyway,
he ain't that dude.
Games 1 and 2,
especially in the clutch.
The Celtics.
I would give him the ball in the clutch.
What the Knicks have done is most impressive because the Pacers have the benefit of the Cavs are injured. Nobody's injured for the Celtics, right?
Porzingis is in and out, but that's it.
Robbie's playing.
Yeah.
He had like 2 points. And then the game before that, he had 0.
The Celtics won a championship without him last year.
Yeah, no, it's 2 different circumstances.
Yeah, this is very different.
The Knicks are beating a relatively healthy.
Yes.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas the Cavs have their second and third best player and either their
fifth or sixth
best player out. So that's a huge difference. Not that Indiana deserves credit, certainly.
Absolutely.
But not as much as Boston.
Let's put the refs behind us then. I'm glad we just all agree. We don't have to spend too much time on the refs.
And here's the thing. To be fair, let me defend Cavs fans a little bit. Every fan base does the same thing. It's not just Cavs fans. Every time you lose a close game in any sport, the fan base is biased. That's why fans here think Joe Buck was rooting for the Cubs. He, of course, was not. But you believe that because you're biased. And Joe Buck got excited about big moments. And it's the same thing with the refs. Like, we always think the refs in sports or the umpires, they're cheating against our team. They're not. You're the one who's biased. But fans of every team can't wrap their heads around that.
Unless the game was like when the Pistons Knicks
Hardaway,
yes. All right, yes, that's the refs, 100%. Yes, it is.
The refs weren't cheating.
I wouldn't say that, but I'm just saying that I would blame that loss on the referee's terrible call. Like, yes.
I didn't see it, to be honest.
It was
my goodness.
They did not call a foul. They came back and say, we should have called a foul with 0.1 on the clock.
JB lost his mind.
Yeah.
But again, Mike, how many other things along the way?
No, I'm not saying it's their fault, but that's the time we're like, all right, you got a good gripe.
Yeah.
Missed the call.
There are times where officials can directly impact
the Saints. Remember was it the NFC Championship?
Yeah, the pass interference with the Rams. Yeah.
But those are very rare.
Yes.
That are that obvious.
Game 2 is not one of those very
rare.
No. Let's get to the other part of the Cavs conversation I want to bring up after a quick word from Game Time. There's nothing like the energy of an MLS match, the chants, the atmosphere, the last-minute goals. If you want to experience it all live, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever with last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and a lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying Major League Soccer tickets. Plus, the prices drop as kickoff gets closer, so you can score amazing seats at a great price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your first offer. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So Game 2 is obviously an emotional roller coaster for the Cavs and all of Cleveland and their fan base. Afterwards, Kenny Atkinson and Donovan Mitchell were asked, mentally, how do you put what just happened behind you and regroup for Game 3? We're going to listen to Donovan and Kenny. And then Tyvis, I'm curious from a former athlete perspective at the highest level, how a player and a team can put something like this behind them. So here's Kenny and Donovan, and we'll go right to Tyvis afterwards.
We got to get guys back. That's first. Hopefully, if we can, we can get guys back. I've been down 2-0 before at home, and we have enough talent. We have enough talent in there to go get. Game 3. That's it. That's all that counts. Not Game 4. Not game. We just got to focus on getting Game 3. But that's a tough blow. No doubt about it.
We can sit here and dwell on this and be home in about 4 or 5 days, or we can move on and take some things that we did really well and go from there. I have no doubt everybody in that locker room is ready for Friday. It sucks, stings, but we got to go out there and take care of business. Otherwise, that's it. But I believe in everybody in that locker room. We believe in each other. we'll figure it out.
Why is Donovan wearing sunglasses? Is that just a fashion thing?
All the stars do it.
They all wear sunglasses?
Yeah.
He ain't got no buffs, though.
I don't know why I noticed
He
that.
should have been buffed up.
What does that mean?
Cartier glasses. You ain't never seen the movie? Of course you ain't never seen
What
the
movie?
Buffed Up.
Buffed Up? I've never seen
It's a
Buffed Up.
Detroit. It's like a hood. It's a Tubi movie.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
I don't have Tubi.
I mean, you can get. You
Oh,
can watch
Tubi's
it.
free,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube.
Okay.
It's
All
about
right.
sunglasses in
So
Detroit.
Ty, as an athlete, how does a team at that level put what happened, emotional collapse like that behind them, and regroup for the next game?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be a fraud if I sat up here and told you that, oh, you could just flush it, watch the tape, flush it, and move on. It is very difficult when you have that type of momentum and you lose in that fashion, knowing the circumstances that your teammates are in. It's very hard to turn the page, but you got to find a way to do it. The good news about this is this wasn't game 4. You know, you still got an opportunity to go out there. And I think, you know, guys like Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome had one of the worst games. He's been terrible in the playoffs, period.
Well, in the playoffs in this series.
Excuse me, in this series.
Yeah.
You're right. In this series, he hasn't been good. But guess what? You get another opportunity to go out there and right that wrong. It's not too late. And that's the thing you got to hold on to. No matter how good or bad you've played, no matter what the circumstances is, you still have another opportunity to fix everything. You know, teams can come back from 0-2. You get down, you go 3-0. Like, that's where, you know, it's like curtains on that one. So I feel like in their mind, in my mind, if I was playing on this Cavs team, I would say it's the best way to get revenge. They came in and they embarrassed us in our facility, in our home. Now it's time to go do the same thing back to them. And it starts with physicality. You know, I would think that if guys are going to come out there and play in this game, the Evans, the Dariuses, the Hunters, if those guys decide to go out there and play, personally, I would find a way to even things out. If I got to take a couple hard fouls to get people off their game or bump them up a little bit, like, so be it. But I got to find a way to even this thing out. Like, no matter what, you got to find a way to win this game. Donovan is not going to be able to shoot threes. We already know that. I don't know how many calls he's going to get going to the lane this upcoming game because I feel like he got a bunch of them in this last one. Don't know how many, now that you in their building, I don't know how many times you're going to get those calls, but other guys got to step up. You know, Max Strus had a good game. Jared Allen had a good game. We need that. Sam Merrill gave you something off the bench. I think you just if you just need just one or two more people to step up in there and have a better performance, and you can find a way to win this game.
I think the extra day off really helps.
Yes, it does.
Because you can pout yesterday, you can sulk yesterday, you can
Oh, you did.
lick your whatever phrase you want to use. Get it out of your system. Come back today, get a good practice in, and get on the plane. And I think it would be harder on a one-day turnaround. I think that extra day, in this instance, can really help.
You know what I don't like, guys? And we've all been so high on Kenny Atkinson all year. And the other day we played a clip where he talked about the fouls and stuff. And we all, whoever was here that day, I don't remember. We all said we didn't like it.
Yep.
And I don't like that. Like his first answer to how do you get over that is we got to get guys back. Well,
before hold on, let me just clarify. That was the first question after the game.
Yeah.
They speak again today. I'm sure he's gonna have a little different answer. That was the immediate aftermath.
I know that, Mike, but if guys don't come back this game, he just said, first we need to get guys back. So essentially he's saying, well, if we don't get guys back, we can't win.
I disagree.
I think Mike's right. It's the emotion of the moment. You're
Yeah.
frustrated you don't have your guys.
Yeah.
I think it was just the emotion of the moment.
Okay.
But I hear what you're saying. You're right. You're right.
If he says that today, I'd agree with you. That was literally 5 minutes after the buzzer.
Right, but
I was shocked how fast he came in after the game.
It was the fastest he's ever come to the plate.
I mean, it was like, let's just get this over with.
Right.
There was like 6 people in the press room. Like, people hadn't even made it down from the press seats.
Right. Well,
so just want to add that context. That was what I said.
Because usually they take 20, 25 minutes to come in after a game like that, and he was in right away.
Yeah. When also, you know, I was listening to that clip that Tyvis sent this morning into our chat group with Brian Windhorst, and Brian made the point of saying that part of the reason people are starting to complain, like us, to some degree, that these guys aren't playing, especially Darius, is that the Cavs keep listing them as questionable, right? Well, when the coach says, well, we got to get guys back, it makes you think they could possibly play.
Absolutely.
So if he says we got to get guys back, if none of those guys could play, if there was no chance they could play Friday, I don't think he would say that.
There is medicine.
Now, if guys don't play, again, especially Darius, it's going to be like, well, they keep listing him as questionable. The coach is saying we need guys back. And if they're not back, it has you scratching your head.
There's a tactical part of this, too, that, yes, because and Jason and I actually talked about this. There's a fan versus tactical component to an injury report. You don't want to tell Indiana, hey, Darius is out. Or he's doubtful.
You better not.
You want to leave it up in the air as long as possible to make them have to prepare.
Correct.
In the instance they're going to play. And on the flip side, if you say questionable, exactly what you just said happens, Bull. We all assume maybe they can play.
Right, but
and then we get upset and frustrated when they don't because they've been listed as questionable. And I'm not sure what the fine line to walk is and how a team should handle that versus not, because you don't want to play your cards and give your hand away to the opponent, but you also don't want to let the imaginations run wild of some of the, and I mean this sincerely in a good way, some of the craziest fans who are then going to get upset if it doesn't come true and then label guys as soft when that may not be the reality.
Do you think that this point, that the Pacers today will prepare much differently if the Cavs are honest or not about Darius? Is their preparation that much different?
Ask Tyvis, who played at the highest level, if you had to prepare if Joe Burrow was going to play versus the backup.
Here's where I think it's
Heck
different.
yeah, that's a difference.
Of course it is. Of course it is, but that's a different sport.
Yeah, that's
where
not
you
a
got
fair
one
comparison.
game.
Yeah.
You got one game at the end of the week. You may or may not have seen that team earlier.
Could be a Sunday to Thursday game.
I'm just saying, at this point, Jason, is there much of a difference?
I actually don't think that there is, just because I remember going off, when I was a beat writer and talking to teams and players who said, everybody knows what everybody's doing at this point in the season. You don't have any secret plays.
Right, yeah.
You don't have any. Now, you can come up with something like special ATO or whatever, but for the most part, tendencies, everybody knows what everybody else is doing by this point in the season. They've seen the Cavs with Darius. They've seen the Cavs without Darius.
Right.
They know. Yes, there is some gamesmanship involved in this.
Sure.
Certainly, for sure. But, this is 2 years in a row now where we've had this. This is the exact same situation with Jared Allen last year.
I knew you was going to say that.
It is. It's the exact
refused
same
to get
thing.
the shot.
And I don't even want to go back. I mean, we wrote that and it caused all kinds of. I don't. It was
You
true.
apologize?
No, it was true. And I'm not saying Darius is or isn't. I have no knowledge of that.
That's why different.
That's why I don't want to go down that path. But this is the second year in a row in the playoffs where you have this instance of a really key player. Is he in or is he out? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Where a guy's questionable for 2 weeks. Like usually you're not questionable for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're questionable for a couple days. So it's unfortunate that we are all in this position where the Cavs are in the spot. Of course they want their guys back. Of course Darius would rather play than not play. It forces us to be in positions of, well, how hurt is he? How tough is he? We don't want it. Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
Bad boy Pistons. You got to go knock some people on the ground. You got to make it even.
Well, that's what I was screaming and yelling about at the post game.
I'm sorry.
That the Cavs have not done. Donovan Mitchell's getting his ass kicked in the game. Nobody's doing anything.
Yes. Halliburton got a wrist. We going to make sure that wrist messed up. What are you talking about?
Halliburton should be knocked on his ass.
I just don't understand.
But the Cavs are soft.
Put Tristan in. We ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you do.
What?
The series.
You can't put him in for a couple of minutes to foul?
There is a spot for him, yes.
I think he actually plays in Game 3.
Okay, so you on my side. You picking up what I'm putting down.
Do we think any of these guys are going to play tomorrow?
Who? I think Hunter.
Who? The three guys that are hurt?
I think Hunter will be out there.
I don't know.
Listen, I thought Darius was playing.
I have people calling me during the show.
Hey, you and Jason got the hotline.
Jeez.
Don't nobody love me.
I thought Darius was going to play in Game 2, so I have no idea at this point. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I don't think they know.
Do you think they're going to play?
I mean, I talked to someone this morning.
Maybe Jared knows. He would know better than us.
Jared would know better than us. We're going to bring Jared in 1 sec. They're all game time decisions is what it's going to come down to. And we'll see how warm-ups go.
Yeah.
This is a must-win, an absolute must-win. There's no other way to put it. And I think if these guys can go, I got my fingers crossed they will. But we have someone who may know a little better than us waiting in the queue. So let's do a read and bring in our first guest of today's show. Our guest today is brought to us by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in the marketing, development, design worlds. Experts ready to help take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in Jared Greenberg, TNT sideline reporter, to the show, who hopefully has some good news on the injury front for the Cavaliers for us.
First of all, I'm just impressed. I mean, as a Jew myself, I don't ever go south of the Mason-Dixon line. For Jared, as a Jewish man, to live in Atlanta, that's risky there, Jared. What's wrong with you?
No, there's a lot of us down here.
All right, good. Let's go. Let's bring up that Jewish population down south. Let's get it going.
Seriously, what's wrong with you?
I'm having some fun with a fellow Jew. Give me a break.
The bagels suck down here, but...
Oh, God. I can't even imagine how bad the bagels. Can you get a knish there?
No.
To be honest,
I haven't had a knish in 25 years.
Oh my God, Jared! What is happening? That's why he's skinny and I'm fat. Jared, what is the latest with the injuries with the Cavs? Do you have any insight as to if any of these guys are going to possibly play tomorrow?
No clue.
Oh,
and like you guys were saying, like I don't know that they've made decisions. I don't know. I honestly. I think the Darius one. I just heard Jason talking about it. I thought that of the three, I thought Darius would play game 2, but from what I understand, that was actually decided pretty early in the day that Darius wasn't going to play, which was a bit of a surprise because for game 1, the way I was told, and listen, who knows, Jason, you know this all the time, the information you get sometimes is strategically delivered to you. But I had been told that they were truly making it a game time decision for Darius. I do not believe it was I believe it was a game time decision in game 1. I do not believe it was a game time decision in game 2. So I don't know. I mean, with Darius, the thing is, you heard Kenny Atkinson say this, he said, we don't want him at 50 or 60%. And I understand that. This is a pain tolerance thing, but it's also preventing him, they believe, from being the shifty, mobile type of quick twitch point guard that we've come to appreciate from him. And they don't feel that he could be that over the last, 4 games.
Jared, I'm with you. I left the arena after game 1 believing Darius was playing in game 2. So I was really sort of shocked that he didn't play in game 2. And I get what Kenny's saying on the 50 or 60%. I totally get it. I thought it was fine to hold him out of game 1. Hold him out till you lose and go from there. But at this point, 60% of Darius sounds pretty good compared to what we've seen through the first 2 games. I think at this point, if it's 60%, so be it. I think you have to take it.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand both sides of the argument. And, listen, my report was that there's no structural damage. I don't believe that they feel he could do more damage, but they just don't want to put him in a precarious situation. The report that I gave was something to the effect of that they want him feeling confident to play like himself. So,
Jared, let me ask you about the guy that's replacing him right now, and Ty Jerome. Now, in the Miami series, he was phenomenal. In Indiana, I don't know what's going on. What are you? Is it just he not making shots, or is it Indiana actually doing something that's affecting his game?
Yeah, I don't think, and you guys know this from watching the Cavs over 82 games. The biggest shift in the Cavs this year, we could talk about some of the specifics, but the biggest shift was them not being as reliant on their backcourt and having their backcourt take a step back, sacrifice, and uplift everyone else, right? Like that ultimately is kind of a synopsis of what led this offense to being as elite as it was this year. I don't think it's the formula, as you saw in game one, that the backcourt took 50 shots, right? Now, to a certain extent, the argument for Donovan Mitchell taking 30 of those 50 is, well, he's our best option. My only argument for that would be he was on some pretty good Utah Jazz teams over the years. In fact, one team like this team that was the number 1 seed and was eliminated in the second round. And Donovan, as I discussed yesterday, or 2 days, whenever that game was, 2 days ago during the game, he admitted to me that he his quote to me was, at times in Utah, he believed in himself too much to become that scorer, that this year he's recognized that it's about everybody else and he doesn't need to do that. And I wonder, I also talked to Ty Jerome before game one just about this new experience for him, right? It's been well documented how this year he's burst onto the scene. He's overcome these injuries that he's had in the past. He's beat the odds, and he's now become a huge piece for the Cavs. And he talked to me. I asked him, "Are you leaning on anybody to get advice about, as the stages get bigger, the expectations grow, the spotlight's bigger, it's different?" And he kind of looked at me and he goes, "My teammates know that I'm never going to be worried about the pressure," and that's a good thing. But I also wonder if he's out there trying to prove, hey, I'm meant for this moment. And he maybe, I don't know, I'm not the X's and O's expert here, but you guys have seen him. Ty Jerome did a lot with a little throughout the season. Now it looks like he's trying to do a lot with a lot. And that's not been the formula for this team this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Jared, if you had to bet right at this moment who is coming out of the East, who would you bet on? It's a tough one.
Can I use your money?
Sure. Take my money. Go ahead. Yeah, use it. Yeah.
I'm not done with Boston yet. I should be. I absolutely should be. What I saw last night, I did not think was real. I checked to see if I was on some sort of drugs while I was watching the game, making sure my wife didn't roofie me or something like that. That was more insane than what happened, the night before in Cleveland, because for deja vu to repeat itself, like a copy image of what happened was just stupid. I have no idea. I mean, I'll still stick to Boston because we've seen this plenty of times. We've seen this where you think you know what a series is, particularly like it's one thing to live in the moment and be a prisoner of the moment for game one and say, this is what's going to happen. But when you get more of a sample size with 2 games, you're supposed to know. Like, there is absolutely a world where Cleveland and Boston are playing each other in the conference finals. That world still exists. I'm not trying to say it's a good chance. I'm not trying to say I believe it, but that world is there.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Yeah. I know we're hyper-focused on the Cavs, but Tyrese Halliburton in these playoffs, and especially the other night, he's a monster, and I think Cavs fans are getting an appreciation for him. Just what do you think? What do you make of his performance in this series, in particular at the end of Game 2?
I actually didn't do this report. We didn't have time for it during Game 2, but he's a very unique – I don't want to call him a superstar yet, but he's got the potential to knock on that door. And with what he's done in this postseason run, as you alluded to, Jason, like when you have your biggest moments of your career in consecutive weeks, hitting massive shots to win games, you're starting to knock on those doors. But he's so unique in that and he doesn't need to score 30 points. He wasn't the best scorer for the Pacers in Game 1, right? He allowed Nembhard and Nesmith and Siakam at times to hit big shots. He's such a within the system guy that I think we're going to overlook his impact on greatness. the things that like the Cavs tell me in confidence just about the things he does to their offense is sensational. Like his ability almost like Jokic a little bit in that his ability to pass ahead, right? It has totally changed the Cavs defense for what they've wanted to do. The fact that he's the point guard and at times in their half court set, he's okay with not bringing the ball up to put the Cavs in a bad spot defensively because they don't know what the counter punch is going to be.
Yeah.
And the fact that he takes care of the basketball the way he does, it's remarkable. And then he's still got that star quality in him. I don't know if you guys heard the interview I did with him right after the game, but he said, I wasn't giving up that ball once I got the rebound, right? Like I knew it was me. So on one hand, he's a dude who lets others shine, but the stars in this league win games. Stars in this league win series. And he knew that if they were going to win or lose that game, that shot right there had to be taken by him.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jared. Let's say that the three guys are out. So Hunter, Mobley, and DG also aren't ready for Game 3, which is going to be it's going to be an uproar if they are. I'm just telling you that now. But let's say you're Kenny. How would you go to attack the Pacers to try to win this game? What would be your game plan?
Again, I'm not the X's and O's guy, but I'll tell you, like Cavs looked to be, what were they up by 20 or close to it the other night? Like,
yep,
20. If you're good enough to build that lead, you're good enough to win the game. So I don't know that they have to make that many adjustments. The meltdown down the stretch, like that's what's concerning. Like that's the mental stuff that the Cavs that you guys saw over 82 games were so good at, right? Like, I mean, Kenny talked about it after game 1 about the physicality and talked about how it was uncharacteristic of his team, the way they played, the way they allowed the Pacers to throw that punch and take it. To me, they did a sensational job of bouncing back in game 2 of that. What was uncharacteristic to me, and I mean, you guys know more, right? Like Jason, you cover these guys. That meltdown down the stretch, and to a certain degree, that's where you miss Mobley and DG and a guy like Hunter. But to come out of a timeout and throw the ball away, that's not the makings of a team that was nearly the best team in basketball for 6 consecutive months. That to me is what's disconcerting.
They were playing 2-on-5 the last 3 minutes of the game. I said that the other yesterday when we were talking about it on the show, that it was Max and Donovan and 3 dudes standing around waiting for Max or Donovan to make something happen. And that's why I think they wear down in the last few minutes. That's why, I mean, the Pacers just absolutely attacked Donovan every time he had the ball.
He had a 51 usage rate. We didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, usage rate of over 50%. It's highest, Mike, you said highest of his career?
Yeah, and game 1 was the second highest of his career, for the record.
So if it was 51 in game 2, if these dudes don't play, it might be 55 or 60. Like, I don't, the answer is Donovan has to bail him out. And I don't know that on one
And he
leg,
nearly did. Like,
and he nearly did.
Listen,
and he nearly did.
This is the playoffs, and winning and losing is what matters. You've got to give Donovan some credit for the effort that he gave and the performance that he had the other night. Like that was one. If they win that game, right? If they don't turn over the basketball in that last second turnover, Donovan Mitchell. Our conversation is about the heroics of one man.
Oh yeah, he did that on one leg, and I think Donovan has reached the stage of his career where he is obsessed with winning. It's the only thing he's missing. He knows he's never made it out of the second round. He's heard about it. He's well aware. He's got all the money. He's got all the All-Star games. He's got the max contracts. He's got everything except winning. I think he is obsessed with winning. I don't know that the rest of the roster is caught up to that yet, if I'm being totally honest.
Let me just double down on your comment there, Jason, because I had a sensational conversation with Donovan prior to game 2, and I asked him directly about the noise of him not making it out of the second round. And the first thing he said to me He gave me some more detail, but the first thing he said to me is, I am obsessed with winning a championship.
Yep.
Like you said, Jason. I want to win a championship. And what I recognize and what's pretty obvious, and it's, you know, he didn't say this, but like it almost sounds Captain Obvious, you know, to say it. But in order to accomplish my primary goal of winning a championship, that requires me to get out of the second round. So, yes, I want to get out of the second round because that puts me one step closer to doing what I want to do. And then he went into some detail. There are some circumstantial stuff that I do think gets overlooked as to why he's not gotten out of the second round. This certainly was supposed to be his best opportunity. And what he also said is he knows not to take these opportunities for granted. You know, just because this roster, you would assume, is going to come back looking almost, you would think, almost identical to what it is next year, that does not mean the season will play out the way it has this year.
Yes.
Right? So he understands how precious this moment is.
Yep.
And the way he said that to me 2 days ago about his goals to win a championship, you're exactly right, Jason. Like, I know you don't need me to tell you that you're all over this, but like his emotion towards it, you very rarely get that type of look into a guy, because I think sometimes as we all grew up as sports fans, that's why most of us are in this business and why we do this for a living. We sometimes get angry that the players don't take it as seriously as we do, or they have other priorities. You're exactly right. Donovan Mitchell's priority for the city of Cleveland, for his career, is to win a championship, and he sees this as his best opportunity to do it.
Just to follow up real quick on that, I talked to him toward the end of the regular season, and I asked him, was there ever a season prior to this where you felt like absolutely we can win a championship? And he said yes. And honestly, I had forgotten that they were a 1 seed coming out of the COVID year, the year after the COVID bubble. The world was still weird. I totally forgot Utah was a 1 seed and they lost in the second round. And he said that team I thought had a chance. Obviously, it didn't work. And I said, you may just have to wait out Boston. Boston may just be too good. And this is before Sham's report came out that they were probably going to have to make some moves and break that team up. And I said, you may just have to wait them out and then see what happens with them this summer. And he got like, not mad, but kind of aggravated. Like, I've heard that in my career before, and I reject that. Like, we're not waiting for anything. It's right now. We're going to do this. We want to do this right now. And it just was impressed on me where his mindset is at. And I'll go back to, I told Mike I wasn't going to bring this up, but we're already down this road, so I'll bring it up. LeBron's last year here, he and I had multiple conversations where he would say, like, not everyone is built for this. And you would think that they are. You would think that winning is, all the players are obsessed with winning. And I'm not saying the rest of the Cavs are or not. I'm not making a judgment one way or the other.
Yeah.
But with him, he said, like, not everyone is totally obsessed with winning in that moment. And you don't want to be surrounded by guys who don't want to win. And LeBron was obviously at that level. I think Donovan's at that level where they are consumed with the idea of, I have to win. I mean, Donovan is risking blowing out his Achilles. If you're playing on I don't care what anybody says. If you're playing on a strained calf, you are taking the risk of further damaging your Achilles. He's willing to do that and play on one leg, down 0-2 in the second round of a series, just for the opportunity to advance and win. That is unbelievably impressive to me.
Well, let me just go back to that LeBron stuff, because I think it's really important. And I think we can apply life lessons that we've all had to basketball. There are parallels. The simplest one is you don't know what you don't know. And, you go back to, like, Jason, we've all covered Steph Curry or guys that have talked about Steph Curry, right? Like, guys that think that they have really tough summer workouts, and then they can work out with Steph Curry, and they're like, holy crap, I've been doing literally nothing compared to what this guy does to get ready for the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you hear about that. So the guys that come back from playing with him in the Olympics, or guys that go out to California and spend a week with him, they're like, oh my God, like, I thought I was the hardest working guy ever, and I'm not doing a fraction of what Steph Curry's doing. Apply that here to the playoffs. Like, take a guy like Ty Jerome. And again, I'm not casting aspersions on him. The confidence he plays with is amazing, and I love his style of play. But he says he's ready for these moments. Until you've been through it, you don't know. Right. And again, I'm not doubting the other guy's willingness to want to win. But Donovan's been in this position before where he is expected to win. It's the rest of the group's first time in a position where they're expected to win.
Yep.
And that comes with a whole different set of circumstances and pressure than you could ever quantify in words for somebody until you actually live it. And I hate to say this, and again, I don't want to, talk out of both sides out of my mouth, because on one hand, you don't know what this opportunity looks like. And whether Boston breaks up their team or not, you don't know what the rest of the East does. Does Giannis change teams? Does
Kevin Durant come to the East?
Correct. Does Devin Booker? There's a million options. This league we cover is the craziest league in the history of the world. It operates drunk 90% of the time. You never know what is going to happen. So, yes, on one hand, the Cavs cannot just say, we'll be there next year. On the other hand, I will say this. The Cavs will be better for this adversity than they were before. It hurts. I don't, and listen, Knicks fans are so elated right now, the serious ones, the real ones that have been on board with them for a long time, because they're saying it's been, more than half a century since we've had, since we've won a championship. So don't tell us about next year. That's what Knicks fans have always said. The Cavaliers, this group is, the core is so good, the foundation and the way you won. Like LeBron used to talk about this all the time too, Jason. I remember the first year LeBron came back to Cleveland and he had Kyrie and Kevin Love, and we were constantly asking questions that were alluding to, these guys have never been in the playoffs. How are they going to be ready for it? Yep. And LeBron would tell us stuff like, in the regular season, you could lose a game, but win something for the playoffs. In the regular season, you can win a game, but it does nothing to help you down the road. He would teach those lessons. LeBron would always talk about that. And now I think what you're seeing with this group of guys, and it sucks because this was the opportunity for the Cavs, it's not over, right? Like we've seen weirder stuff than the Cavs going to Indy and winning the next two. We've seen weirder stuff in this league. It's not over.
Jared, last thing. The Cavs 2 years ago got manhandled by the Knicks in the first round. Last year, the Cavs eventually won the series, but the Magic were very physical with them. The Pacers have beat the crap out of the Cavs in this series. Donovan Mitchell.
What is it with this? Relative to the rest of the NBA playoffs, this to me has been literally like the least physical series of any series that's been played. And we're making this out to be like there's fights in these games.
No. I'm not saying it to that extreme, but they're way more. My point is they're way more physical than the Cavs are. The Cavs have a reputation of being a soft team. You're not buying that?
No, I think Bull. I think you're playing into the narrative. I think you want it to be that.
Thank you. I'm glad someone national can say we've been trying to tell you for 3 days now here, Bull.
Wait a second.
Thank you, Jared.
I don't purposely do narratives or come up with phony bullshit. I give my honest opinion. And the Cavs,
I think they have a reputation of being soft. I'm with Bull on this.
Yeah.
Mike,
you've never argued with me on this. What are you talking about?
Teams feel like they can push them around.
Different levels of toughness.
Teams feel like they can push them around.
Time out. We're saying two different things. I'm not disagreeing with you that narrative doesn't exist. What I'm disagreeing with you is I have not seen over the first 2 games of this series one team that's been so significantly tougher or more aggressive than the other team. What I saw the other night was a mental breakdown when the pressure counted the most, and it just so happened that 3 of the most important players on the Cavs roster was not on the floor when those meltdowns took place.
Right, and my point is, Jared, that the reason some of their best players are not playing is because they've gotten beaten up a little by the Pacers, right? And Kenny Atkinson complained about it, that it was over the line. Some of these hits, Jared Allen getting knocked to the ground, and yet the Cavs, there's no retaliation, there's no physical play as Donovan Mitchell's getting double teamed and beat up every play. It seems you're not buying it.
So I'm not like. So you right before I came on, you guys said the solution is throw Tristan Thompson out there for 7 minutes and let him get a few fouls. Like, okay, like if that's gonna help you guys set the tone for how you want to play, fine. I don't know that Tristan Thompson, when you're missing 3 guys that are capable of scoring 20 points or more in a game, when those three guys are out, I'm not putting another guy on the floor that is capable of scoring 3 points a game.
Yeah. It's a tough spot to be in.
It is.
There's no question.
All right. We appreciate it, Jared. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Bull, is there anywhere in Cleveland to get a good bagel?
There is one place in Cleveland. It's called Cleveland Bagel Company. It's a relatively new place. There's 3 locations now. That's a good bagel. That's really it. You really can't get a Knish here either.
No.
But you know,
as many trips as you make to New York, you haven't had a Knish in 25 years?
Yeah.
Jared's a clean eater, apparently.
I don't even know what a Knish is. I don't know why I'm talking like
You would
that.
love it.
It's delicious.
I don't even know what it is.
It's basically a fried potato.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in.
Right. And the outside is kind of like, depending on if you get the square or the round. The square Knish, the outside's like a pastry almost.
I gotta look it up.
And then the inside is fried potato. Yeah, I mean it's just.
You're not going to think it's that. You're not going to think it's that appetizing, but it is pretty good. The argument among Jews is what you dip it in, and if you say the wrong answer, Bull, I'm hanging up.
Well, okay. Well, Jared, this is going to be
There's
the
one
wrong
answer.
probably because I don't dip it in anything. I eat it plain. He's aggravated. He's going to hang up.
What's the right answer?
Is this it?
You can't leave us hanging.
That's
Right.
a Knish.
The right answer is spicy mustard.
Spicy mustard.
Well, that's
all right.
I just don't like mustard, so
I like the horseradish mustard.
I'd eat that. That look good.
it's fantastic. Those are the round Knishes you showed before, the
I
square
eat that.
Knishes.
Jared, when you're back in Cleveland, hopefully for game 5 or 7,
5.
I'll have Jason send you the only place in Cleveland where I've had a good Knish.
Where?
Larders.
They don't have Knishes all the time, though.
Well, I'll make sure if they know Jared Greenberg's coming in with the TNT.
We gotta
crew,
get
we'll
them
get
done.
special Knishes. And when Larders does make Knishes, Jared, they're very good. I'll make sure I get you in touch with Jason for that.
Thanks, Jared. We appreciate it, man.
Fellas, thanks for having me on. It'd be fun to be back in Cleveland for Game 5.
Yeah.
Thanks,
it will
buddy.
be. We'll see you later.
That is Jared Greenberg. You can find him on the TNT
He
broadcast.
does a good job. He's
He
a
does
good
a great
dude.
job.
He's a good dude.
In my
He's a really good
opinion,
dude.
there are, and I don't mean to be mean, but I think
Yes, you
there's-
do.
I think. Well, okay. I think there are very few good sideline reporters in sports. Period.
Yeah,
And he's
you've
one of the
mentioned
best.
this before.
No, he's definitely one of them.
Most
Absolutely
of the sideline
one of them.
reporters are useless, in my opinion. He's excellent. I love Evan Washburn in football. He's great. Aditi's fantastic, as we know she's one of the best.
Yep.
Did you watch me when I did the spring game? Was I?
I
good?
did not. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you did good. I like all your work times.
Hey, Jared was awesome. He
Yeah.
said as he hung up, he's like, when I'm back in Cleveland, Knishes. So, Bull,
Yeah.
we'll have to tell
Well,
Larders.
let's get him in studio. Tell him to come hang with us. We'll take him.
I think, Jason, you know him a little.
I've known Jared for 10 years. He's a great dude.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
take
so
him.
we'll-
We can take him to Slyman's. There's no Knishes, but there's good.
We'll make that
corned beef.
happen. Speaking of food, Bull,
Yeah.
before we get to our next topic, if
Yeah.
people are trying to lose a few pounds,
Yeah, you don't want to eat
maybe
Knishes.
not Knishes, but
Yeah.
Menu-RX and
Knishes is not. It's not a great food to eat if you're trying to lose weight. And with Menu-RX, they're trying to help people not just lose weight, but for some people, it's about just toning and getting in better shape. When you deal with if you deal, those big box diet plans, like they have a diet plan, and whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're 20 or 40, whether you're 100 pounds overweight or 10 pounds overweight, they put you on the same plan, basically. That makes no sense if you think about it. A man's going to lose weight differently than a woman. A person 100 pounds is going to lose weight differently than a person 10 pounds overweight. At Menu-RX, you're actually working with experts, scientists, nutritionists, people that study weight loss and nutrition for a living. That's why I'm dealing with them. It's been a struggle for me my whole life. If you're obese or if you're just someone who needs to get back in shape, contact the folks at Menu-RX, my buddy Dr. Jake May, today. It doesn't matter if you're chasing peak performance, trying to build your dream body, seeking optimal longevity, trying to lose weight. Menu-RX will help you reach your goals. Go to menu-rx.com to get your consultation today. That's menu-rx.com.
All right, guys, we made it an hour without talking any football. We're going to spend some time in the second
time
hour
this week.
talking some football. So talk some Guardians in a second. But the other day, Nathan Zegura, Tyvis' co-worker with the Cleveland Browns,
Z.
was on the Zach Gelb show. And Zach Gelb asked Nathan Zegura about the Browns' thought process in the draft.
Let me give a shout out to Zach Gelb. I know him a little bit.
Oh,
because
please, yeah. He does a good job.
He used to work at the Fan in New York. His dad was a longtime producer on the Fan, and Zach's a hustler, man. He is always hustling. Considering he does, I don't know what time his show is on CBS Radio now. I think he's got a better time slot, but like when he was first on CBS Sports Radio, or whatever they're calling that now, Infinity Radio, I used to be on there. He was doing overnights, and he was getting good guests all the time because that kid hustles. I shouldn't call him a kid; he's not a kid anymore. But he's a hustler, and he'll whenever he has a good Cleveland-based guest, I'll get a text from him. Hey, so and so was on my show today. If you want to talk about it, so kudos to him. But he had Zagur on.
He had Zagur on, and they were talking about the Browns quarterbacks and the whole thought process behind drafting Gabriel, how it impacted the Shador pick. And Nathan said something very interesting in the interview about how the Browns looked at Dillon Gabriel in the draft. This is Nathan Zagur on the Zach Gelb Show.
I think when they brought Joe Flacco in, they thought they were going in this draft with Kenny Pickett, Flacco, and they were going to draft Dillon Gabriel. That was basically the Browns' target in this draft. Once they knew they couldn't get Cam Ward, that was the guy they wanted, and that's why they took him. They took him obviously a little earlier than I think most people thought he would have gone, but one thing people need to remember is when they made the trade with Jacksonville, they traded down about 20 spots in the fourth round as a part of that deal, and I think if they had 94 and 105, then they're probably... Maybe they take somebody at 94 and they get Dillon Gabriel at 105. But once they dropped all the way down to 126, they thought, let's not wait 32 picks. We really like Dillon Gabriel. Let's take him. So they get Dillon Gabriel there.
So my pre-draft rankings, I loved Cam Ward 1. I had Shador Sanders 2. Then 3rd, I had Jalen Milroe. I actually put Dillon Gabriel 4th and then Jackson Dart 5. And I got a lot of blowback and pushback. Oh, how could you put Dillon Gabriel as 4? So I'm someone that's pro Dillon Gabriel. What do you think, or what's your understanding of why the Browns loved him so much, where you were saying after Cam Ward, he was their second quarterback on their board?
Yeah, he was the target. He wins the way that Kevin Stefanski, at least in my understanding of him, wants a quarterback to win. Great decision maker, accurate from the pocket, can throw on the move in both directions. He's very tough. They love his pocket movement. And one of the things that Kevin Stefanski told me was, we kept watching the tape. We kept being like, where does the height show up? Because that's the knock on him, right? If Dillon Gabriel's 6'3", he probably is the number 2 pick in this draft, to be perfectly honest with you, everything else being the same. He started more games than anybody in college football history, 63. In 3 different programs, he's had seasons where he's thrown for 30 touchdowns with 6 or fewer interceptions. He's thrown more touchdowns than anybody in the history of the FBS. He's played a lot of football. He's very mature. And while a lot of people talk about the pre-draft process of Shador Sanders, you can ask a lot of people around the league, and I've heard this from quarterback coaches on other teams as well. He had the best pre-draft process of anybody. Just mature, gets it, so good on the whiteboard, completely understands the concepts, understands the playbook, understands what he is being asked to do in the offense. And so they saw a guy that they thought could be a very efficient ball distributor and operator of their operation and of their offense, and think that what he excels at is what this system requires a quarterback to excel at.
I mean, was Nathan Zagur talking about Dillon Gabriel before the draft a lot?
Nobody was.
Well, I don't understand because he's talking about him like he's the next great. I mean, you think he married the guy?
If he was 6'3", he'd be the number 2 pick.
First of all, I keep hearing people say that. Who gives a shit? He's not 6'3". That's such a stupid thing to bring up. I've heard some people.
If he was, that's not true, because if he was. I think, first of all, let me say, Dillon Gabriel's a really good football player. Like, he was.
The fact that he's the all-time FBS touchdown thrower is meaningless.
You know what?
He was great with Oregon.
Right.
He was great with Oklahoma and all these things. So I have nothing but respect for Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah.
He's a really good football player. But the height thing, to say if he was 6'3", that's not true, because Kyler Murray went number 1 in the draft, and he's about the same height. So I don't really want Baker Mayfield went number 1. Baker Mayfield. So the height thing kind of missed me with that. That's just a mediocre
Drew Brees
excuse.
was what, the 35th pick in the draft, something like that.
33rd.
With all that being said, I think that Z was right with a lot of stuff that he said as far as the decision making, and he's smart with the football. He's a smart football player. If you get to talk to him, he's a very humble guy. I tell you all the time about his NIL day. He had the Chrysler van, and that was the greatest thing in the world to him. So he's not this flashy guy. However, people wonder, the thing about Shador and Jalen Milroe, because I said they were high on Jalen Milroe. And the thing about those two is that they had, I think, out of all the quarterbacks, maybe even Cam Ward too, out of those 3 quarterbacks, they got probably more information than anybody else in the NFL because of the connections that they have. Obviously, Tommy Rees worked with with Jalen Milroe. I think Glenn Cook, something with Miami, so he knows them.
Went to Miami.
Yeah, went to Miami, so he knows everything about Cam Ward. And then Pat Shurmur and Kevin, with Shador and all those other things. So, when you get that type of information, you can make better decisions. And I think for them, obviously they didn't like the feedback that they got about those guys. Not Cam Ward, because they wasn't getting Cam Ward, but the other two guys.
Well, but how do we know they wouldn't? How do we know they wouldn't? Nathan Zegura said they were Gabriel was second on the board, but we don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going for that.
Maybe
I'm not hearing that.
When did Jalen Milroe get picked? Not that
before Gabriel.
Picks before.
Gabriel.
Yeah, do we know? Do we think they might have taken Jalen Milroe if he was still there?
We'll never know. Maybe
the reason they took Dillon Gabriel there is because they liked Milroe and Gabriel, and Milroe already went, so they got panicky.
Yeah, there's a lot of I think Nathan made a good point in the Jacksonville trade and dropping down 25 spots. So just take your guy.
Yeah.
One of the things I said during the entire pre-draft process was, I want you to stand on the table and tell me who you want and take that guy.
Okay.
If it's Shador, if you believe in Shador, then run to the podium and take him at 2. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I'm paying you for your evaluation. It doesn't matter what the Broncos think about him, what the Vikings think, what the Raiders.
Yeah.
None of that matters. I'm paying you for your expert opinion. So tell me who you want, and that's who we're going to take. And that's what they did with Dillon Gabriel. So fine. Is it higher than we thought? Yeah, but so what? So they clearly stood on the table and said, this is who we want, and they went out and took him. So if he really was second on the board, then great, because you had no shot at getting the guy at number 1, realistically.
Yep.
So they got the other quarterback that they felt best about. And I have no reason, to doubt what Nathan's saying. If that was number 2 on their board, I'll bring him in and see what he's got. I agree. It's funny. I just looked it up because I saw
I'm
this
not saying
pre-draft.
he's lying.
I know.
He might have bad information.
Yeah. But the all-time touchdown thing is funny. I do think the 63 or whatever starts, I think that matters. It's a ton of experience.
Sure, yeah.
That
It's
matters.
a ton of experience.
Yeah.
But it also might lead you to believe that he's a finished product at this point. That maybe there's not as much room for growth as some of the other guys.
It might, but I think he's probably more NFL ready than some of the other guys. But here's the list of names at the top of the NCAA.
Tommy, the guy from Hawaii, right?
Dillon Gabriel, Case Keenum, Kellen Moore, Graham Harrell, Sam Hartman, Colt Brennan, Rakeem Cato, Baker, Landry Jones, Ty Detmer, Aaron Murray, Luke Falk, Timmy Chang. That's the top 15 or 16 or whatever.
Baker's the best of that
Baker's
list.
the best. And
the rest of them are all nothing.
Had a...
Like I said, to me, it comes off to me as they miss Baker and they went and got a guy that's similar to Baker.
Do you know what I do find funny about Gabriel?
I don't care
quick?
what nobody says.
And then, Bo, I'm curious your thoughts on the whole thing. How much time did we spend the age of Tyler?
Shuck.
How much time did we spend talking about his age?
Right.
Quite a bit.
Right.
Quite a bit. Gabriel's 1 year younger.
Yeah, right.
Like, Tyler's 25.
Yeah.
Gabriel turns 25 during the season.
Yeah.
The difference, the one thing I didn't like about Shuck
is the injuries.
No, obviously that. But I said, a 26-year-old going back to college should dominate those guys. Dillon Gabriel did. Dillon Gabriel was an elite
really
college
good.
quarterback.
But he had better talent around him than Shuck did.
Okay, fine. But still, if you're a talented quarterback and you're 25 years old playing against college dudes, you should dominate.
He also didn't have elite talent around him at UCF when they were really good.
But that's
they
not
staked their
fair.
claim
That's
in
not
the-
fair to say that he had elite talent at him at Oregon. None of those offensive guys went.
I didn't
first,
say he
second
had elite talent. I said he had better talent than Shuck did, didn't he?
I don't even know who Shuck
I mean,
had.
Oregon's talent.
Yes. Off the top of the head, yes, because I don't know who's even at
Yes,
Louisville.
the answer to that's yes. Well, you're right.
Yeah.
What'd you take in Nathan's whole? I mean, had him number 2, the height thing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Nathan was a little over the top on you're going on and on about a guy that he and nobody else had ever talked about before the draft. He made it seem like it's a no-brainer. But
that's always how the Browns
obviously
operate,
Nathan is plugged in.
Do the Browns want Nathan Zegura going out before the draft and going on and on and on and on
No,
about Dillon Gabriel?
But Nathan Zegura was whispering to people, and he never whispered about Dillon Gabriel. I'll just say that.
For a reason.
I would say.
So you're saying his whispers were lies?
No.
Okay.
Either they didn't tell him or they didn't want him spreading
Right.
it. He's a team employee.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yes.
either it's one of two. Either they didn't tell him, and now that it's over, now they can open the vault and let it all out.
That's probably what happened.
Or they didn't want it. If that's really the guy that's number 2,
Yeah.
and obviously you can get Dillon Gabriel anytime you want, he's not going number 1 overall, then they don't want that out there.
They probably didn't tell him.
Do you think they would have taken Milroe if he had been there?
You're probably right. They probably didn't tell him.
They didn't tell him.
Because there's trust, but there's
well, they didn't tell anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. Like as me being in the nobody knew.
But well, maybe it's because he wasn't. Maybe part of that was he wasn't their second guy. That second guy was Milroe, and they lost out on him.
Entirely could.
We'll never know.
Now it doesn't matter in the end. Kevin Stefanski said yesterday it doesn't matter where you're drafted at this point. And he's right.
He's right.
That's a fact.
Yes, I mean it matters to some degree. Dillon Gabriel, no, even if he sucks in training camp, is not getting cut. He's a third-round pick.
Don't say that. 2016, it was the guy that got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
He played corner. I cannot think of his last name. He's from Notre Dame. That boy got cut.
Third round?
Third round.
That's very rare.
And I said, because I was in Seattle, I said, oh, if he got cut, then I ain't got a chance. I'm undrafted. I ain't got a chance.
That is rare. But in terms of like the Browns quarterback situation, I think it's irrelevant that Gabriel got drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders. If Sanders outplays Dillon Gabriel in the offseason, he's going to be higher up the depth chart when the season starts.
You talking about Shedeur?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I told the story before, but I remember Kyle Shanahan saying when they walked off the field of practice saying the 7th round guy is the best quarterback we've got.
Yeah.
So Kevin's right. Once you're on the field, man. Now, you do have more rope as a first-round pick, especially at that position. But you don't have that situation here. You got a free agent, a dude you traded a 5th-round pick for, a guy you picked in the 3rd round, and a guy you picked in the 5th round.
Right.
There is no extra rope.
There's no high pick capital.
Yeah.
And there's no money capital on any of those 4 guys, which is pretty unusual. Go ahead, Mike.
You ready to talk some guards?
Let's do it.
Let's move on. Talk a little Guardians, guys. Our Guardians talk today is brought to us by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. You can see 20-point comebacks every night now. At least that's what it seems after the Cavs and Celtics both blew 20-point leads. And you can get it on the action with FanDuel, betting on game-winning shots, breakout players. There's never been a better time to do it. FanDuel makes staying in the game easy before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. You can make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
The Guardians.
The Red Hot Bowl.
Yeah, they've scored 36 runs their last 5 games, 26 runs their last 3 games. Before the show, Earl was here, and he says to Jason and I, he goes, is what the Guardians doing sustainable? And I said to him, what do you mean specifically? And he goes, scoring 8 runs a game. And Jason and I at the same exact moment said, no. Now, that's not even a knock at the Guardians. I think the Cubs are first in the league in runs scored, and they're averaging like a little over 6.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, the last 3 days has been ridiculous, or 2 days because there was a doubleheader. But, yeah, the bats are on fire right now. It's good to see and Gabriel Arias had another big game. But
no home runs, though,
But yesterday was a microcosm of the Guardians. I'll tell you.
Well, but let me ask you this, Will, about that.
Yeah.
In the last week,
and
really the last 2 weeks, Carlos Santana has started to find his bat. And in the series against Washington, Santana was really good. The last 7 days, he's got 2 homers, 9 ribbies, hitting .304 with a 1.037 OPS. If Santana is giving, obviously, he's not going to hit with a 1.037 OPS for the entire season. But if Santana's rounding into form, is what they're doing offensively a little more sustainable because it wouldn't just be on the backs of Jose and Manzardo?
No. Because I don't even know, the Gabriel Arias thing is fascinating. Because the traditional numbers are pretty solid right now. But he swings and misses more than any player in baseball, Jason. And I don't know that he can keep up what he's doing. There's another metric with Arias where he's like one of the worst in the league besides
his
swing and miss.
I'm looking at his StatCast page now.
It's terrible.
It's not great.
And that leads you to believe that he can't keep it together. Santana is traditionally a slow starter. I think there was reason to believe that maybe he was done, and now the last 2 weeks maybe he's showing you he's not done. His OPS is getting close to 700, which you want to be over 700 or 720. I mean, if Santana can play at the level of last year, that certainly would help. If Arias can keep up what he's doing, that certainly would help. You know, Nolan Jones hit a home run the other day. Maybe he gets going. But that, you know, I just nobody's can consistently score that many runs. But hopefully again, you know, we didn't expect the offense to be great. For the Guardians to have a chance, their offense at least has to be mid-tier, and that is possible that they could be mid-tier. But they're still going to be low in home runs.
Arias says OPS is 790 and expected OPS right now is 745. It's not that far off.
No, that's true. But the swing, look at the swing and miss.
I mean, his whiff rate is 40%.
Which is, I think, the worst in baseball.
He's in the 1 percentile.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Strikeout rate is 26%. That's not terrible. I mean,
who would you?
It's a little high. But
him.
Whiff rate is how many times you swing and miss.
Right.
Him or Rocchio?
Oh, Arias.
Arias
I just wanted the way y'all talking about my boy. You just need 13 more, and that's it.
There you go.
I mean, so the whole point with advanced metrics is what a guy is doing sustainable.
Right.
You know, because you can have some broken bat bloops or whatever, and you can make the numbers look better than what they are. So these numbers sort of back up. If a guy is struggling, you can go and look at how hard is he hitting it, how many barrels, how much is he swinging and missing. And if a guy's numbers are bad, you can look at this and say, okay, well, he's due to he's going to bounce. Or you could go the other way, and if a guy's playing really well, you can look at some of these advanced numbers and go, he's probably due for regression here. And that's what Bull and I are saying is if you look at some of the deeper numbers, Arias is probably due for regression. But I'll tell you, like, for whatever it's worth, he had a monster winter, and I know people don't want to hear it, but it's translating. Like, he was terrific in winter ball.
We'll hear it because he's playing well.
No, I mean, I said it when spring training at the time. I'm like, hey, look at his winter ball numbers. He's playing great. I know everyone has Gabby Arias fatigue at this point, and they don't want to take it seriously. But I'm just telling you, coming to spring training, he had a really good winter. Now he has carried that through, and now we'll see if it's sustainable.
Do you have his BABIP on there?
I can find it.
For those who don't know what that is, that's batting average on balls in play. Anything significantly over 300 is considered he's been very lucky, and significantly under 300, you've been unlucky. I'm guessing he has a high BABIP, but I don't know.
It'll take me a minute.
How would you judge the Nationals pitching?
Their starting pitching is not bad. They don't have big names, but Jake Irvin, who pitched the first game of the doubleheader, has been pretty good. Mitchell Parker's been pretty good, and Mackenzie Gore is very good. So their rotation's been pretty good. Their bullpen's not very good, but their rotation's good.
363 is his BABIP.
Yeah, so when you have a 360 BABIP, that means you've been very lucky.
I'm looking at some of his other stuff.
I believe the average is around 300.
I mean, he's cut his strikeout rate down. He was at 33%, which is atrocious. The last 2 years, he was at 33%. This year he's down to 26%.
Yeah,
it's the lowest of his career.
Can he keep it at 26 when his
whiff rate is 40%? Yeah.
I keep wanting to say swing and miss rate, but whiff rate is 40.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he's producing right now. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, he is.
Nolan Jones' analytics are way better, but he's not producing.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
Like, Nolan's numbers are awful, and his metrics say he should be much better. Yeah. Arias' numbers are pretty good, and his metrics are saying they shouldn't be that good. So, we got a lot of baseball left. We'll see if this sort of evens out.
It's really promising. But yesterday, the inning they scored 8 runs. I can't remember what inning it was. It was
Sixth.
That was that was so Guardians, that inning. They scored 8 runs. They had 1 extra base hit in that inning, and it was the Santana double. Otherwise, it was all singles, walks, wild pitches, I think, a couple. But an 8-run inning. And those are, it's hard to score 8 runs in an inning, period, let alone with 1 extra base hit and no home runs.
Yeah.
That is just crazy, but that's what they did yesterday.
To Mike's original question about Santana,
it
lengthens the lineup, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
I'm really curious to see, I think we're all in agreement. Kyle Manzardo has to play every day. He cannot come out of the lineup. So what do you do when David Fry comes back? First of all, David Fry's got some Ty Jerome to him. Can he repeat? Last year came out of nowhere. Can he repeat that?
You got to play him against lefties.
When is he due to come back?
Last I heard was like June-ish, but to my knowledge, he hasn't really
I haven't read anything about him rehabbing or anything.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Maybe another, even if it's 6 weeks at some point. It depends what Santana's doing at that point. It also, I guess if Fry
cannot play the field this year.
Can he play catcher?
Right.
No. He can't throw. coming off the
No,
elbow.
he can't play the field period.
So he's
he got a
strictly
DH.
So
DH
you'd
when he
have
comes
to.
back.
I would think.
So it's Santana that has to lose the at bats,
Right.
If you're going to keep Manzardo in the lineup,
and
there is no other
if
option.
If Santana's doing decently, then maybe you just platoon him and Fry against lefties, Santana against righties.
I guess. I don't know.
Fry is been much better against lefties. So it'll be an interesting thing. Listen, if Santana's playing well enough that they're not sure what to do, that'd be a good problem to have.
I mean, Boston's looking for a first baseman. I'll just throw that out there.
You go trade
true.
Santana?
Meanwhile, you also have C.J. Kafis down in Columbus. He was killing it in Akron. They promoted him to Columbus. I think he's like 8 for his first 15 or something.
I haven't seen his numbers.
Yeah, he's been really good since going to Columbus. So
I mean, obviously trading Santana. I'm just throwing it out there. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
but Boston clearly needs a first baseman.
Yeah,
the first baseman's out for the year.
Yeah, right.
And they're getting by right now with the platoon. But I mean, this is an organization that loves to create assets out of nothing.
Yeah.
And to trade Naylor and get something for him, sign Santana as a Naylor replacement. When Fry comes back, if you can then flip Santana and create another asset, I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Fry got to prove it first before I.
Fry has to prove that he's healthy.
Yeah, but if you believe in Kafis, you could call Kafis up.
You could.
And trade Santana.
Could do that.
Who could we get? Like, they're not giving up much to get Santana, though.
No.
The number one prospect for Santana. Who says no?
You're getting a reliever, or you're getting an A-ball. You're getting a guy in A-ball.
Yeah.
Who's like 25th on their prospect list.
What you say this first baseman in Columbus name is?
Kafis.
I need to go.
He's a corner outfielder first.
I need to go to the Clippers game and see this guy.
Yeah, he's been playing really. He just got called up to AAA, and he's gotten off to a good start.
I want Bazana to go there, but they probably gonna take him straight.
Well,
from
you can go to Akron. I mean, it's not like
the Clippers is literally.
No, I know, but you can go to an Akron game on the way home.
Ty's a little busy. No, it's a totally different road. Akron's 77. He's going 71.
That's fair. Good point.
Real quick on AAA. Is McKenzie pitched in AAA?
I haven't looked.
I don't think so.
It's funny.
He down there?
Yes.
It's unbelievable that he cleared waivers to me. That is unbelievable.
I mean, this guy was about to sign an extension. He was a top prospect at one point, and now nobody.
If you're the Rockies
or the Marlins or the White Sox,
how do you not claim him?
I don't
the White
understand
Sox.
that.
How do you not claim him and
Damaged
take a shot on
goods.
It would have cost you. His contract's like 1.9. So you take a sixth out of that. You're looking at like $1.5 million.
I was shocked that he cleared waivers,
especially because he's under team control for 3 more years. So even if he sucks this year, you can work with him all off season.
He throwing batting practice.
I was just stunned. What were we just asking about? Oh, Tristan McKenzie.
I don't think he has. I'm on his MILB stat page right now. I don't believe he's pitched.
I need to see when he pitching. I'm going to that game. I hope it's on Dama Dog night. Go in there with $10 and eat like a king.
Did you say dime?
Dime a dog.
They do that? Dime a dog?
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God!
As a matter of fact, I did a hit section on the news on the first Dime a Dog night.
That makes Dollar Dog night look expensive. He's
Dog.
got 4 appearances for Columbus. He's pitched 5 2/3 innings. He's got an ERA of 11.
I'm on his.
Where are you seeing that?
On his MILB page. 2025 stats: 4 appearances, 5 2/3 innings pitched.
That's his major league stats.
ERA 11-12. Yeah, that's what the Guardians.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, major
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he hasn't pitched. No, he pitched for Columbus last year.
Yeah, he has not pitched this year in Columbus.
Man,
Bazana get there, McKenzie there. Oh man.
Maybe they're.
I'm gonna take a beach ball.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
Shutting him down and working with him a little bit. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, he was optioned down and officially transferred on April 30th after clearing waivers. Has not pitched.
That's 9 days ago. 8-9 days ago.
Yeah.
He should have pitched by then. So I wonder if they're. Who knows? He may be in Arizona.
Travis Bazana, by the way, updated numbers on him. He has his OPS is 741. It's been dropping. It's hit 241. He's got 3 homers, 16 ribbies, 6 stolen bases.
That's not great.
You'd
like to see for AA. You'd like to see.
Yeah,
that.
he's far from dominating. I mean, the numbers are fine. They're solid, but they're not.
And the guy who was the 3rd pick is already in the majors.
Kurtz.
4th pick.
Kurtz, he was 4th.
Yeah.
Where was Caglione? Because he's killing it. Caglione.
6th. 8th, something like that.
So it's guys
6th,
in that draft that's already in the majors.
Well, one, yeah.
One
doing
is.
well.
Yeah. One is.
And what position is he?
First base.
Yeah,
Jack Caglione is hitting .330
Yeah.
with 8 home runs and 31 RBIs and a 1.007 OPS.
31
Whoa,
ribbies.
whoa.
It's got to be less than 31 games,
Wait,
right?
you talking the dude that just got drafted?
Yeah, he was in Bizana's class.
He's averaging a
He's
ribby
just,
game,
you
probably.
say he doing what?
I just said he was
He
killing
has 37 hits and 112 plate appearances,
it. Yeah.
8 home runs, 31 RBIs. He's hitting .330. His on base is .409. His OPS is 1.007.
I don't know why the Royals don't move him to AAA. I don't know.
Is he playing? He's playing AA also?
Yeah, he's in AA.
Yeah, AA.
Was that Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
correct. The Northwest Arkansas Naturals.
Yeah.
And he was the 6th pick.
He should be in AAA.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Do you remember what was the guy that Athletics called up? Do you know his stats? I could look it up real
Nick
quick.
Kurtz?
He had a bunch of home runs. I don't know what
In
his
the
average
minors, he was killing it.
In the minors, his 2025 minor league stats: 84 at bats, 7 homers, 24 RBIs, a 1.040 OPS.
And he's been up for like a week or two, so that was in a short amount of time.
Right. Yeah. No,
and
at
he's
least
hitting
2 weeks.
he's hitting .262 in the majors. Is Caglione pitching or just hitting for?
I think he's
Just
just hitting.
Just
yeah.
hitting. Yeah.
All right. Any other Guardians thoughts before we move on here?
No.
13
what else?
more home runs.
Were they Philly? Are they Philly this weekend?
They're home.
Oh, they're home.
I'm
This
sorry.
weekend?
Yes, they're playing Philly, but it's at home.
Let
I'll
Big
be there
Christmas
Sunday. If
play.
anyone's going to the game Sunday, let me know. I'll be there.
6-game homestand starting tomorrow. They got 3 with Philly and then 3 with.
I need to get over there.
Who are they playing?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, right?
Wear your
right.
43 jersey.
Minnesota's playing much better.
wear
Kansas City's
jerseys.
playing much better.
What if I got you a 43 jersey? Would you wear it?
What's 43? Is that your number? I don't know where your number was. I'm sorry.
John Kenzie Noel.
That's sad.
Oh,
Man.
That's sad.
no, I ain't wearing it.
Why not?
Come on, man.
He wears jerseys.
I'm not letting it die. Big Christmas had one of the greatest home runs in this organization history.
He did have a big home run. He did.
And then David Fry followed it right back up and made it was even better.
What was your number? I don't even know. What was your number?
When I played,
Yeah.
23.
That's
Like
right.
Jordan. That's why I always wear Jordan.
I
Like
didn't know
LeBron.
It's always on my shoes.
that. I didn't know that.
All right, let's
right.
get to our next topic. If
Yes.
you guys are trying to get tickets to any kind of game, Major League Baseball, basketball, football, soccer, you better be using Game Time to get your tickets. Game Time has last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and their lowest price guarantee. Make sure you get the best ticket possible. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to sporting games, concerts, comedy shows, anything you want, because Game Time makes everything easy, affordable, and gives you the peace of mind you need. So take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. So earlier this week, the Jacksonville Jaguars released Gabe Davis. He signed a contract last offseason with Jacksonville. They underwent a coaching change, a general manager change. They drafted Travis Hunter, and they decided to part ways with Gabe Davis. When you look at the Browns' receiver room,
Can't afford
these are
it.
the names currently listed on the depth chart for the Browns at that position. Judy, Tillman, Deontay Johnson, Jamari Thrash, Michael Woods, and David Bell. The Browns have had very little luck drafting receivers. So Tyvis, with a quarterback battle, a lack of weapons on the outside, if the price is right, and I understand that's a big part of this, but if the price is right, would you be interested in the Browns taking a flyer on Gabe Davis to see if they can resurrect his NFL career?
Resurrect.
Just got cut after 1 year to sign a big deal. He's in the dumps.
I mean, he's a jag. This is what it's come to. Resurrect his career? Did he have some big career somewhere that I don't
did.
know about?
In Buffalo, when they went up against
was
Kansas,
just the
he
guy.
Had like 4 touchdowns in the playoff game.
he had a big game, okay, but he was just a guy. I mean,
that's where he got the name, Big Play Gabe.
Yeah, that was the only game he was Big Play Gabe. But go ahead, Tyvis.
I mean, listen.
He set a $40 million contract for 3 years.
That was pretty stupid, obviously.
And how much that
I'm
was
just
guaranteed?
saying, it's a resurrection project. Tyvis, should they be interested?
Sure. I mean, but it's not like we have great wide receivers outside of Judy anyways. Why not? Bring him in, see what he's got. He looked like he put on a bunch of pounds. That's probably what his problem is. Got to cut. Look at me talking like, what's wrong with me telling him that he put on like I ain't fat. But anyway, he probably cut a couple pounds and all those things. But I think I'd bring him in, help these young guys, give them receivers to throw to. I just don't know how much down the field, because he was known for being this vertical guy when he was with Josh Allen. I just don't know how much of that goes into Kevin's offense. I mean, I feel like it's a lot of bang gates, a lot of over routes and things like that. So I don't know how effective he'd be, but I'd take a flyer on him.
He had a lot of touchdowns for Buffalo in 4 years. Like, he averaged 6.5 touchdowns, which is pretty good. He never put up much yardage. He'd be inconsistent. He'd have a couple of really big games, and then he'd do nothing for a month. He's remember Will Fuller with the Texans?
Yeah.
Will Fuller. That boy was fast.
He'd have a couple of games where he'd put up huge numbers, and then he'd disappear for a month.
He'd have one game with 3 touchdowns. Everyone would pick him up on the waiver wire, start him for 2 weeks, and he'd have one catch for 15 yards total.
That was Gabe Davis with Buffalo, I feel like. I mean,
you ain't wrong.
He was kind of he's an average player with Josh Allen. So
would you bring him in?
I mean, fuck.
That's what at the end of the day,
Mike said if the price is right, who is paying him any significant?
He was on the books for $11.5 million.
I know, but that was insane. So that was the Jaguars. They compete with the Browns for stupidest organization in sports.
Does the Jaguars
that contract we all said
was
insane, and then they cut him because it was insane.
I mean, I just did a quick glance. I don't know what his guarantees were on that. I don't know what he actually got out of that.
By the way, I just was reading Deontay Johnson has 0 guaranteed money from the Browns.
Yeah.
Zero. Yep, that's correct.
And I would think
smart. That's smart.
Yeah. Gabe Davis, at this point, he's not getting any guaranteed money or minimal, I would think.
No. I don't know where he Patriots or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, it's fine if the Browns want to bring him in.
If they bring him in, cool.
I mean, he's better than a lot of the other guys they got, so whatever. But
I mean, I'd always look at this from the player's perspective. Would Gabe Davis want to be here if he's got opportunities to go else? Deontay Johnson probably didn't have very many opportunities. That's why he's here on a 0 guarantee contract.
Yeah. I don't think Gabe Davis can have a ton of opportunities, but probably more than Deontay Johnson.
More than Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson at his best is better than Gabe Davis.
Absolutely.
But Gabe Davis didn't quit on his team, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Quit on 2 teams.
So if the money is similar and you have the chance to go be a 3rd or 4th receiver with a semi-decent quarterback throwing to you, or you can come here, where are you going to go? You're probably going to go elsewhere.
Why?
Because you'd rather go with a better quarterback.
But you could be arguably a number 1.
You could be wide receiver 2
here. Number 1?
It's possible.
2.
He could be the number 2, but I bet he wouldn't be.
Who's throwing it to him?
I mean, that's fair, but
Dillon Gabriel.
Are the opportunities as option 2 with a worse quarterback better if you're trying to get another contract or however you want to?
He's not getting that. He's never getting a big contract.
I'm not saying a big contract,
when they
signed him.
him.
Signed to something. He's not that old, Bo.
I know, but he's just not that good, Mike. He never should have gotten that contract in the first place.
I'm not agreeing with the fact. Remember he signed last year, and I was actually out on the panel.
Right.
And we were talking about how crazy that. I'm with you. It was a bad contract at the time.
And the Jaguars realized it a year later.
Getting paid again. He's like, I got cut him over. He's going to try getting paid again. So for him, would it be better to potentially be higher in the depth chart with the worst quarterback, or as opposed to being a 5th or 6th
First
guy?
of all, there's probably a better quarterback, a team with a better quarterback, because almost every team has a better quarterback, where he might be able to compete for a second wide receiver job too. Like here, he'll be competing with Cedric Tillman and Deontay Johnson. And remember, you guys are saying second wide receiver, Mike, but the Browns have 2 pass-catching tight ends.
Yep.
So that's a good point.
There's a lot of other teams that don't even have 1, let alone 2 at tight end.
No, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Couldn't he compete? I was going to say the Steelers, but right now their quarterback situation is not any better than the Browns. Where else could he compete to be the number 2 receiver? He'd go back to Buffalo. Not right. Who they got?
I mean, if Josh Allen wants him.
Yeah.
Like, that's a team where if Josh says, I like him, he's a good red zone target, bring him in.
If I'm him, I'd rather be the 3rd or 4th guy in Kansas City than be the 2nd guy here.
From the Browns' perspective, can you bring up the list again of the Browns quarterback room? Do you
Quarterback or receiver?
I'm sorry, receiver. Do you and the answer very well may be yes, absolutely. But I'm just wondering, do you know that you know that you know that you know who Jamari Thrash is?
No.
Do you know that you know that you know that you know who Michael Woods is?
Nope.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about David Bell?
Yes.
Yes.
And
not,
what about
not Tillman and not Thrash.
Okay, and I was going to say said. So I was talking to somebody with the Guardians a couple years ago who said, I understand this is different sports.
Yeah.
Who said, like, we need to know who we have before we go out. Like, if there is a significant upgrade in trade or free agency, we're going to try and make that swing and make that move.
Right.
Otherwise, we have to know what we have here, in-house, internally. With where they're at this year in competing and everything else, I don't think it makes sense to bring in somebody off the street who probably doesn't have a bright future here, Gabe Davis.
Right.
When he could be taking snaps and reps away from guys who you aren't entirely sure yet that you know with guys you have in-house.
Especially when you've already done it with Deontay Johnson.
Exactly. How many of those guys do you really want around?
So you're right. Gabe Davis probably doesn't make money.
Now, if you want to bring Gabe Davis in on a non-guarantee and one guy, like fight for my love, and Deontay and Gabe are fighting over one spot.
Fine.
Okay, I guess, but I don't want to bring in a bunch of retread veterans.
Right.
When you need to find out what you have in these young. This is the perfect season to find out what you have.
Last year?
Yeah, he only played in a couple of games. Jason, I want to ask you a question on that real quick. And I don't for the record, I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
I think you're disagreeing, Mike.
No, I'm not. I'm more just asking a question based off what he said. In that same vein, and you have said on this very program that you want and you think and you're kind of demanding the Browns play the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what they have.
Yeah.
Can you get a better sense and a better chance to evaluate those young quarterbacks if they have more proven commodities around them on the outside to showcase what they can and can't do? And if that is the case, would Gabe Davis, compared to a Jamari Thrash or a David Bell, give you a better chance to figure out, okay, Dillon Gabriel, are you the guy? Shedeur Sanders, are you the guy?
No, that's fair. And I think you have Judy, he's a veteran option. You have David Njoku, he's a veteran option. So you do have veterans around. And I just said, like, if you want to bring Gabe Davis and Deontay Johnson in to fight over one spot, or Deontay Johnson and whoever else, whatever. But I'm not giving up more than one spot to a veteran retread because it is a good point. You want veterans around them to help these young guys along. Thrash is what is it? Is Thrash second year?
This will be his second.
David Bell's what? Fourth year?
This will be his fourth year.
So I mean, Tillman was showing progress before getting hurt last year.
He was, and Tillman. This is year 3 for him.
So who knows? But
this is year 3 for Tillman.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's not young. By year 3, you kind of know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing. But if you want to burn one spot on a veteran guy, okay, fine, I guess. But I just don't want to fill that room with guys. This is a perfect opportunity to find out what you have in Michael Woods. It's a perfect opportunity to find out what you have in Jamari Thrash. I'd rather give the snaps to those guys.
How many years Michael Woods been here?
He's always been hurt.
That's what I'm saying.
And he was undrafted, wasn't he?
I thought that was just going to ask you that.
I thought he was
or
a
late pick.
He
maybe
was late.
6th round
out
pick
of what,
or something
Oklahoma?
Like I don't remember.
He's
Oklahoma.
But yeah, I agree. I think it's a good question.
He was
Mike.
a 6th round pick in 22.
Yeah, I think it's so it is his 4th year. Oh, 22?
Yeah,
4th year.
Yeah, him and David Bell were drafted the same year UCSS started.
It's a good question that you asked, Mike, but I think in the end, Jason is right. You have Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, 2 veteran receivers. Cedric Tillman's in his 3rd year, and then either Deontay or Gabe Davis. That's plenty of veterans for the young quarterbacks.
Yes.
I don't need another one to replace Jamari Thrash as the 4th receiver. It's
I would
not
much
necessary.
rather play if Woods can stay healthy.
Woods or whatever. Whoever you like the best out of Woods, Thrash, or Bell.
This is a transition year.
Yeah.
Whether you want to hear it or not. So find out what you have in these guys.
Right. All right, Mike.
All right, Bo, let's get to our next topic. Tell us a little about Menu RX, though, before we get into our last topic.
Yeah, Menu RX, my buddy Dr. Jake May and the crew at Menu RX, you're dealing with professionals who they work in a weight loss clinic down in Louisiana. Dr. Jake is originally from Cleveland. He's a big Cleveland sports fan, and I've known him for about a year. We've worked together. He's worked hard, done more work than I have. I need to work harder on my progress, but I have lost a lot of weight, but I got a long way to go. And every week I speak to Dr. Jake, we talk, and he counsels me, and man, he's doing all he can. But there's so much useful stuff that he gives me that has helped me because he is excited about nutrition. He is excited about helping people lose weight and get in shape because that's what he studied and he has a passion for it. So if you're looking to get in better shape, if you're looking to lose weight, heck, MenuRx even accepts many insurance plans and HSA, FSA payments, so it might not even cost you a dime to work with the guys and at MenuRx. So peak performance, looking for the dream body, seeking optimal longevity, looking to lose weight, MenuRx will help you reach your goals. Go to menu-rx.com to get your consultation today. That's menu-rx.com.
Guys, the Browns rookies, as we speak, are arriving for rookie minicamp. The Browns are posting videos of each of the rookies entering the Berea facility. We got word earlier this week, some of the jersey numbers for not just the rookies, but for some of the other veterans. We're going to run through those real quick, just so we're on the same page. But for the rookies, Mason Graham will wear number 94. Carson Schlesinger will wear 49. Quinshon Judd gets number 10. Harold Fenton Jr. is wearing 88. Dillon Gabriel gets number 5. Dylan Sampson gets 22. And Shedeur Sanders gets number 12. For some of the veterans changing numbers, you have MJ Emerson changing to number 1. Kenny Pickett got number 8. Deontay Johnson's wearing 16. Jerome Baker going back to his college number, wearing 17. Malik Collins, 96. JTS wearing number 90. DeAndre Carter wearing number 2.
Dude,
Hold on.
You can't be giving him he hasn't earned the nickname.
I thought you were the one that said let's call him JTS so we don't have to use his full
correct.
name.
You're right.
Yeah, so we're calling him JTS.
You're
Let's
right.
go to the last graphic
You called
here.
me out and you were correct.
The final new numbers, Nick
glad we have
Needham,
Nick Needham's
25,
number there,
Julian Aquara, 53, Tony Brown, 11. I don't know how to pronounce Andre's last name, but
call
he's
him
wearing
AS.
38. AS is Cornelius Lucas, 71, and Tevin Jenkins, 74.
I mean, outside of Kevin Jenkins, you could be making up the rest of those names.
Cornelius Lucas is real. I am unfamiliar with the other ones. I'll be totally honest.
Andre Smith.
But my question, it's a two-part question. We touched on one earlier in the week. The other one with Tyvis here I want to ask specifically, but there was a lot to be made out of Shedeur wearing 12 and DeAndre Carter getting 2. Do we have any issue with that whatsoever? Kevin Stefanski is final say in the jersey.
DeAndre Carter's a veteran, been in the league 10 years. Almost.
That's my boy, too. I'm
boy?
cool with DC getting 2.
Huh?
Yeah, that's my boy. I was with him with the 49ers.
Yeah.
He was a returner. Really good, really cool dude.
I mean, I think the veterans should always get
They always do.
And Shedeur's a fifth-round pick.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, got that out the way. Number 2, MJ Emerson's wearing number 1. Tyvis, is MJ Emerson fast enough to wear number 1?
You have to be fast? Is that only in football? Because Aaron's wearing number 1 in baseball this year, and he's not fast.
Don't listen to him.
Well, Earl just sent me a picture of MJ Emerson with the number 1 jersey and then
with
an
the
emoji
goat.
of a goat.
Yeah.
He just texted it to me.
You know what though? What was his number at Mississippi State? Did he go Mississippi State?
Yeah, he did. Let me find it up.
I mean, the number.
Wait. Is there something about being fast and being number 1?
No.
So why is Mike saying
You
that?
can't be a fat guy and wear number 1.
He wore number 1 in college.
It's just Mike. Don't pay him
But you
no
can't be
mind.
a fat guy and wear number 1.
No, you can't. You can't be a
Says who?
single-digit fat guy.
No.
Says who?
No.
I ain't never seen it, but
Imagine a fat guy wearing 0.
they let it.
Look like a donut.
Fat guy cannot wear single digits. Period. It's weird.
It
When
does.
you say fat, you talk like D lineman.
Yes, offensive, defensive lineman.
Chase Young wore number 2.
Yeah, but he's cut.
You have to be fast to wear. Hey, listen, I even told Earl this, and
Yeah.
we're big MJ fans on the show. We like MJ. I feel like 1 is a number where you have to have blazing speed. Juan Thornhill wore 1 last year.
Yeah, he stunk.
Does he have blazing speed? Like
No. I had an issue
what
when
are
he
you
was
talking-
wearing number.
what are you
He's a
talking
22.
about?
He's saying he's
MJ's
not
a
fit to wear
23.
1.
Oh my goodness! Listen, man. The fact of the matter is, this man went back to his college numbers. His college number. That means that he feeling himself, and he's about to go back to his college ways. The number brings power. I don't care what nobody say. You get that jersey that you want. You got to deliver, and it helps you deliver. I don't know why,
But it's kind
just
of your identity.
do.
It's kind of your identity, isn't it?
Yeah,
On the field?
people go by their jersey number. I don't even call Cardale. I call him 12 because that's just his number.
Tyvis, did you ever have your number taken from you when you were in the NFL?
No.
Dustin was telling me this morning that when he was in Philadelphia, his second year in Philadelphia,
I had
another veteran came in he was wearing, I can't remember, because he wasn't wearing 37 in Philly. But whatever number he was wearing, I can't remember now. It was 20-something, I think.
Depends on
and
who it is.
Some veteran came into the team, and he had already been there, and they just gave that veteran his number.
Oh, that's messed up.
He should get something for it.
Yeah, that's
now the
usually that's what the player
gave him
does.
some cash.
Yeah, that's
even though he didn't have to because they just gave him his number.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Which was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Will
usually
Johnson, maybe.
usually how it rolls. Yeah,
but like I know,
I got 30 and you want 30 and you was a first round pick. I need 30,000.
Yeah.
You can have this number.
Yeah.
What is the going rate on a number? Does it depend on the contract of the guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What? Give me
Is it a
give me a
percentage?
number. What number you got?
You mean like the jersey number?
Yeah.
or
What
contract
jersey number you got?
21.
You give me 21,000.
Oh, really? So I'm going to be 99 then.
That's funny because that just reminded me. Dustin's number was 21.
Give me
But
21.
the guy only gave him 2,100.
Give me 21,000.
Not 21,000.
Well, was this guy a first round pick?
I don't think so.
Oh well.
What if you're zero? You're screwed.
Well, then you make up your own number. Didn't Deshaun give Anthony Walker like a Rolex or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
It happens.
I'd have been like, yeah, you could. It look better on you. You give me a Rolex. This number look better on you, anyways.
Jadavian Clowney just got released by the Panthers. If anyone cares, Ty, when you look at
that Rolex pass from Watson to Anthony Walker was the best pass he made as a Brown. That was a stretch.
Ty, when you look at when you think of jersey numbers, though, in all honesty, you mentioned the identity factor of it, right?
Yeah.
And you call Cardale 12, and people call guys 2. Like,
Yeah.
You call him by his number? Does he call you by your number?
No.
were you 2-3?
No. People did say that, but I didn't go by 2-3.
Okay.
I went
But
more
looking
than
big
really
picture,
dog-
in the NFL, when guys change teams, they change numbers a lot more frequently than in other sports. And we use a guy like Jerome Baker, for example, going back to 17 now in Cleveland, the number he wore at Ohio State.
I think he wore it in high school, too.
You said there was a power in the number.
It is.
Can you explain or give us a little insight into why that kind of stuff matters to somebody on a Sunday?
Well, I mean, sometimes the number has significance to them. You know, a lot of people, I grew up wearing number 1 my entire life. My dad wore number 1 or something like it has that factor to it. But if you're just a guy that, you know, I don't know, one year you had the number 10 and you had the best year of your life wearing number 10 and you was like, all right, this is my new number 10. And when you, for some odd reason, when you wear number 10, you just think of yourself as that guy, like, because that was when you was at your all-time best. And I think that's for a lot of guys why they always go back to, usually it's their college numbers. Now that they've been lenient with the numbers in the league, a lot of people go back to their college numbers because that's when they were playing their all-time best football. Mm-hmm. And for some odd reason, it just gives you that mindset like, all right, I'm back to that guy that I was when I was at the top of my peak. So I think that's why the number holds significance, outside of the fact that maybe it was a father or a relative or something like that. But yeah, to me, if I wore that 23, it don't matter. It don't matter if it's in softball, basketball, football. Well, I got 23 on.
Were you able
you
to
gotta
have
watch
it
out.
You were able to keep that for your whole career?
23?
Yeah.
In the league?
Yeah.
Never got it one time. And that was like the most popular because the jersey numbers ain't what it is now. Like if people could wear number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it probably would have been open. But every team I went on,
had
23 was taken.
What was your number in basketball, Mike?
14.
That was my number in baseball.
Why was it? Because it's a unique number. I have a weird
It was
reason.
my number in baseball because when I was a young kid and I first started getting into the Cubs, because my dad was a Cubs fan, his favorite player was Ernie Banks.
Was he 14?
Already retired, of course, by the time I was around, but his number was 14, so I wore 14.
Yeah, I don't have a sentimental story like that.
Yeah. Oh.
Mine was the only freshman on varsity, and that was the only jersey they had left, and I played really well. So I was like, oh, I like this number now.
I thought you was going to
So I
say the
just kept
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Wasn't Will Smith 14?
He was?
At Bel-Air?
Dude, have you seen those like breakdown videos on Instagram of like Will Smith on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air playing basketball?
And like the Carlton shots. And
yes.
Yeah, that's so good.
I saw one today from a scene from a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie breakdown. It was this guy, whoever this guy is who does these things, is hilarious.
I'm mad because I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll send one
I'm
your
interested,
way.
yeah.
Although, when I send you guys an Instagram, thing. Nobody comments. So F you guys. I'm not talking.
We have to comment on all of them?
First of all, I don't send them that often.
He doesn't. That's fair.
I don't. But last night I sent 1 or 2 maybe.
Did you?
That I thought were really funny, and you guys all ignored them.
I didn't see.
I laughed out loud at one of them, Bull, and then I just didn't answer. I thought I did. But it actually was very funny.
I don't see nothing.
Which one was it? I don't even remember.
Let me pull it up. Hold on.
I don't see nothing you sent me.
I was looking at 14, and I'm like, man, that's a weird basketball number. I don't think there's, but there are some guys in the NBA wearing 14. Tyler Hero.
Well, it used to
Brandon
be.
Ingram.
Was it the guy who was dating a white girl? Was that the one you cracked up about?
Yeah.
I don't think we were at the band concert last night. I wasn't really on.
Yeah, there was that one, and then I don't even remember what the second one I sent was. Oh, yeah, it was just a quick meme about Justin Tucker and Deshaun Watson, which I thought was funny. But anyway, where are we here, Mike?
Well, we're done with the topic. So we got Super Chats.
Super Chats.
And then I got something fun, potentially, if we have time at the very end, too. But we got our last Super Chats of the day. Our last read of the day is Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with the marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with freelance experts who will deliver incredible results. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork, UPWORK.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, Super Chats, guys. First up comes from KTB. Question for Jay. Those NBA, NFL guys were texting you about Mobley Hunter because they finished game 1. How did they get more hurt in the 48 hours before game 2? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, the Mobley thing, when you sprain an ankle, if you don't take the shoe off, you keep it tight, you keep it on, you can probably muddle through the end of the game.
But fact.
But as soon as you take the shoe off and as soon as you go to sleep and wake up on the next day, it could be a lot worse.
Oh, it's like a bowling ball on the side of your leg.
Yeah, so that one I get. The one that's I think was most confusing to me was Darius, only because, like I said, leaving the arena after game 1, I was under the impression he was going to play. And I don't think I'm alone on that. I think a lot of people felt that way. And then, so that was a little bit surprising they didn't play in game 2. But the Mobley thing, I think, is a little bit more understandable.
I think, and Ty, you could chime in on this too, but even with Hunter, the adrenaline of being in the game completely changes your body's reaction.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
To an injury.
I mean, Bernie played on a broken leg. Bernie broke his leg in a game and finished the game.
I pulled my hamstring in my final preseason game, and I went out there and played a whole series before they said, "Yeah, you can't do this." Yeah. And I was like, "Listen, as long as I ain't been man, you put me in zone, I could do it." And they like, "Nah, you ain't." They pulled me out, but I was.
As soon as you stop moving, a lot of times is when it actually gets worse because there's so much blood flowing in your body, and then when it stops and your heart rate slows down, that's when the swelling bubbles up. What's the right word? Swelling.
Swells up.
That's
swells
the
up.
doctorate degree you got there, Mike.
No, I am not a doctor.
By the way, on an unrelated note, the Pirates have fired their manager.
Saw that, yeah.
Unfair
it's his
because
fault.
They have no talent.
It's his
outside
fault.
of Paul Skeens, basically, and O'Neal Cruz, and a couple other guys.
The old Guardian City coach, Derek Shelton.
Right. And the white smoke has just come out. Apparently, we have
Pizza
a new
Bali,
poll.
baby.
What's that?
I'm Team Pizza Bali.
Yeah, it would be good. That would be good.
I just like the name.
It's
Could
a
not
great
tell you a
name.
single thing about him.
I don't know if they've announced who it is yet, but the smoke is.
They don't.
Is
They
flowing.
just shove them out in front of everyone.
There was. Yeah, it's not like Jeff Passon's breaking the news on who the new pope is.
Is there a Pope beat writer?
You could bet on it, by the way.
Oh,
you could bet on who the new pope was. There were odds on that.
Should I tweet it out?
That's
Should I break the news
sick.
right now?
You know who it is?
No, I have no. I know Pizza Bali. The other guy could be named Joe, and I have no clue.
That's
I
how
just like the name
they.
Pizza
I think
Bali.
that's how they unveil.
Apparently,
them.
No, they are.
stick 'em
We
out
have
on
the TV feeds to our left, and ABC News is just the one that happens to be on.
Yeah.
Oh, NBC. Sorry, happens to be.
Why
on.
would we have ABC News on, Mike? We're an NBC affiliate here.
Well, they have them all. They have all of them
I
to
see.
monitor.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to my left, and they just have a live feed of whatever
Of the
window
balcony.
he's about to pop out.
Yeah.
Right. And that's right. That's how they. But I didn't realize that any Catholic person could, in theory, become the next pope.
And they chose Pizza Bali.
No, I mean you don't have obviously they always choose a cardinal.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not. None of us are any of us Catholic?
Well, cardinal, yeah, they go from cardinal.
Are you
to
a Catholic?
I'm a nothing.
You're a nothing. You're not Catholic, Tyvis?
I'm a mutt.
But anyway, somebody was telling me that technically you don't have to be a cardinal. It could be anybody.
I was just informed by Director Steve that they changed their name when they become a pope.
Yes. I knew that.
So he's not going to be Pope Pizza Bali?
How did you not know this?
Maybe he'll be Pope Pepperoni.
You didn't know that these guys changed their name?
When I tell you, when it comes to religion, I am so far intentionally so far removed.
Dude, I'm not religious, but I know that. I mean, that's like common knowledge.
I guess I did know it in some deep dark depths of my
but
mind.
how many new popes have there been?
This pope wasn't pope for that long.
I'm young.
That's what I'm saying.
How long was this last pope? Not that long. I don't think he was old.
Steve, look it up.
And
I'm less young today than I was yesterday, but I'm still young.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Mike is 32 today. It's his birthday.
Dang,
It is.
Man, you getting up
32.
there.
32.
Mike was a 20-year-old when the show first started.
I remember.
I was.
I remember.
I don't like that. No, we don't have to say that. I
That's
don't
true.
appreciate that.
What was I
All
doing
right,
at
next
32?
super chat is from Jeff's Bookshelf, who says, Jason's a menace on the roads, TV, eating, shaving, peeing, doing everything, literally.
He out of his mind.
But driving.
No, I do.
No,
that
he drives,
too.
but he uses his knees.
I have on
That's
occasion.
a hidden talent.
See?
I wish I could do that.
My dad does that.
My wife does that.
Yeah.
She'll drive the whole way just doing this with her knees.
Really?
Yeah.
That is a talent. That's
I
impressive.
cannot do it.
I've got actually, I don't have the lane assist on my car, but Alessia has it. So you don't even touch the wheel. And it stays in the lanes. But then after a while, it's like, hey, dummy, grab the wheel.
Yeah.
I know you're not touching the wheel.
Right,
you need to grab this wheel right now.
So you use
the
yours?
Goober216 says, damn it, I knew that was Jason the other day. Use your blinker.
No, if I'm in traffic and there's someone behind me, I'll use the blinker.
Sure.
I do.
Sure.
I do. But I know where I'm going. Why do I need to turn the blinker on?
Curtis Reeser says, put Tristan in to get a little rough in Game 3.
There could be a spot
Jared
for
Greenberg
that.
was not a fan of that move.
He was not.
He's
Curtis,
out on that.
Part of the reason Tristan is here
Yeah.
was to bring out more
Toughness on the other guys.
monster out of Evan.
Well, he's failing.
I mean, Evans,
Well, I don't know if he's failing with Evan, but
No, well, maybe not ever.
yeah.
that was part of the reason they wanted him here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Curtis also says, you guys want to get Shador on UCSS. Is there any effort, desire to get Dillon Gabriel as well? I can tell
That's a good point. We should be trying to get Dillon.
we
Gabriel
have. We've made a request to the Browns
Yeah.
for every single rookie to come on the show. We've gotten radio silence. So we've tried. Trust me, there is not. It's not for a lack of effort in getting the guys from the Browns.
I could just go on about the Browns for a while and how they handle things like this, but
But we're not the partner station for them.
Right,
So
right.
that plays a huge factor in this.
yeah, I hear you.
That's just the reality of it.
That's true.
Pranav Karod says, Cavs Game 2 loss reminded me of the Jets Week 2 loss in 23. Still going to win in 7.
Yeah, I mean, I see the parallels. That was a game that felt like it was over, and you had it won.
Yep.
But Week 2 versus
Yeah.
Eastern Conference semis.
By the way, Eddie, who asked that question yesterday and we kind of admonished him, he sent me a message and said, my question was really, which is the most shocking loss, not which is the biggest loss, which is a better question. And I actually
that
think
Jets game was actually
that was a bigger shocker.
Yes,
no doubt.
Yes.
That Jets game was.
They had the kids on the sideline celebrating
Yeah,
the
I
win.
mean, yeah,
that's a good point.
That was Jimmy grandkid game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
Goober216
forgot
says,
that
Mike, you can
happened.
come park in my lot on East 9th and Carnegie for the Guards game on Sunday.
You going to the game?
I'll be there on Sunday, yeah.
Who's that? Oh, the parking lot.
Is that
Yeah.
the Phillies?
It is the Phillies.
Yeah.
The Goober216 should be a DM on Twitter.
Yeah, man.
And I have one more. I'm not sure if I should read this last one.
Well, they paid for it unless it's like inappropriate, like racist.
Not necessarily inappropriate, but
You told a line.
should I just read it?
Is it? Why are you hesitant? Is it cursing?
I'm going to text it to you, Bull, and you tell me if I can read this or
Okay.
not.
Yeah,
Hold
let's
on.
do this real quick.
Tyvis, filibuster for 30 seconds.
Can you filibuster?
Do I look like the type of filibuster guy?
No.
You
not
work
really.
mornings. How did it feel now that I got to work mornings starting next week?
What time do you have to be there?
6 to 9.
How far do you live from the station?
20 minutes.
So what time are you planning on getting there?
Like 5:30, 5:20.
All right.
Something
So you
like
can leave
that.
at like 5 a.m.?
Something like that.
So what time are you getting up? 4:30?
4:45.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Then you work mornings down here.
I have, yeah.
Is it that hard?
It's early. It's the hour of the dead.
But it's like when you're done, you're done.
I'd read it,
Yes.
just not use the last word. Just change that last word.
When you're done, you're done. That's right.
Last super chat, Bailey Blanton said Jeff Phelps thinks he's quirky with his takes, but he's actually just a klutz.
By the way, the word is quirky is Q-U-I-R-K-Y there, Bailey. It's not quarky.
Now, I disagree. There was no reason to read that. He didn't even work here.
They paid for a super chat.
So what?
They made fun of us. We can't make fun of Jeff Phelps.
No, he doesn't work here.
That's
You can make fun of me all you want.
post-game
You can make fun
partner.
of me all you want. I'm sitting right here. I
It
don't
wasn't
care.
that big an insult. They just said he thinks he's quirky.
No,
That's my post-game, Browns post-game
This is
partner.
the actual word he used. I don't know why he used that word. I don't
Oh, that's
understand
stupid.
that.
Let me
we
see.
don't have to read super chats
Let me
just
see.
because they pay
We
for
give
it.
him his $4.99 back.
Yeah, I would not read that.
I don't know how to give money back. That's the issue.
How would it?
All right, we'll see you in overtime. Peace.